Born with a pair of hooked jade Rinnegan. Chapter 1. Yagyu. Since it is the child you brought back from the battlefield, I will leave it to you. Third generation just glanced at it casually and returned the information to Namikaze Minato. Nothing special, just a very ordinary 5-year-old child whose parents died on the battlefield and could die at any time. Namikaze Minato had a kind heart, and it made sense to bring him back. Understood. Namikaze Minato nodded. Seeing that Sarutobi Hiruzen had nothing else to say, he turned and left. Looking at this back figure, Sarutobi Hiruzen fell into deep thought. In the Third Ninja World War, the losses of the villages have reached a limit. Cloud Shinobi Village dead Third Raikage. In order to preserve the power of Cloud Shinobi Village, Third Generation I dealt with the 10,000 ninja army of the Land of Earth alone. Iwagakure suffered a lot of casualties in the battle against Third Raikage. In the battle against Third Raikage, there were 10,000 ninja troops. Kurigakure's 7 ninja swords were opened by might and 4 were killed at the 8 Gate, and the other battlefields also suffered heavy losses. Sunagakure's 3rd Kazekage was killed by a scorpion attack, and was caught off guard by the villages without a leader. Especially in the battle against Namikaze Minato, 150 elite ninjas were lost. The situation of Konoha is not better than them. Even genins such as Obito, Nohara Lin and Might Guy are sent to the battlefield, so it can be seen that no one can use it. Accusations from all sides have made Sarutobi Hiruzen's Hokage position more and more unstable. Peace talks with Rock Shinobi Village are in the final stages. One side must first make concessions to stop the war. Go to the window and look at Konoha Village with a lot less ninjas. Sarutobi Hiruzen sighed softly. This concession can only be made by oneself. Konoha's high-level opinions on him are getting bigger and bigger, and even the Fire Country daimyo has clearly expressed his dissatisfaction. During World War III, Konoha did not gain the initiative on the battlefield, and could not reap benefits, but the losses were increasing day by day. As third Hokage, there is no gain in foreign wars. If the reputation in Konoha still plummeted, the days to come will be difficult. Instead of this, it is better to make concessions in the peace talks with Kazekage and leave an image of kindness to Konoha. Further abdicate to the virtuous, and find a simple-minded person to sit in the position of Hokage. It can not only ensure the sublimation of one's own image, but also retain the right to speak in Konoha. Who will succeed Hokage? Sarutobi Hiruzen had already figured it out. Thinking of the kind-hearted child just now, Third Generation took a deep breath. Namikaze Minato has no family ties, just a commoner. There is no need to make choices in order to protect the interests of the family. Powerful, shed her worldwide fame as the Yellow Flash in Ninja Wars. Approved by everyone up and down Konoha Village. Simple character. Isshin just wants to make Konoha better, and he is a man who has no intentions at all. Easy to dictate his actions behind the scenes. Namikaze Minato is the perfect candidate to take Hokage's place. Namikaze Minato returned home, looking at Kukina's growing belly and Yagyu sitting next to her. Kushina. Gaiwu. Very strange name. Although the name is strange, he is a very ordinary boy. After both of his parents died in the war, he seldom spoke, and he has not said a word since he brought him back. At this time, Yagyu has hundreds of millions of beasts galloping in his heart. Crossed over. Haven't awakened cheat yet. Nima. What kind of rubbish start is this? Just give me a cheat. In this place of Konoha, it would be a miserable death without cheat. What the hell is the body of a 5-year-old doll? What can this be used for? Without Uchiha Itachi's Sharingan talent, there is no 50-50 ninjutsu talent. He also doesn't have the physique talent of Gai Huang. It's over. The only one is a good start. It was picked up by Namikaze Minato, a simple guy. Dog. Since I came to this world, I carry the name Yagyu on my back. It is a day to be able to go on. Know the full storyline of Hokage Ninja. If Isshin gets up, he can live a very comfortable life. A ninja is such a dangerous profession. Why do you let yourself, a 9-to-5 office worker, do it? It's all about making money anyway. To do business is to make money. Being a ninja is also about making money. Why not choose a simple and easy job that is not life-threatening? Start off with such rubbish. Even if you learn ninjutsu, you are not the opponents who hang on the wall in the later stage of Hokage. Instead of hanging your head on your waist to make money, it is better to start a small business to make money. Isn't that very comfortable? If there are cheats, it's another matter. But, even if there are cheats, Gaiwu feels that he will be hooked up. Shoot, don't want. Knock sap drops. Yoshi, big drop. Minato-san. Thinking clearly, Gaiwu looked at Namikaze Minato. Namikaze Minato was stunned for a moment, and said with some doubts, Gaiwu, do you have any ideas? I don't want to be a ninja. Gaiwu said softly. Why? Kushina looked at Gaiwu suspiciously. Living in such a world, except for those who have absolutely no ninja talents. As long as you can refine chakra, anyone who practices ninjutsu will want to be a ninja. The status of ninjas is higher than that of ordinary people. With power, you can do many things that ordinary people cannot do. A look of disappointment flashed in Namikaze Minato's eyes, but it was only for a moment. Gaiwu has made choices about his own life. Since you don't want to be a ninja, let him go. Some of the children who survived on the battlefield will gain strength for revenge. And there are some who know that they can't fight against fate, and choose to lose all sentient beings. It is also reasonable for Gaiwu to make such a choice. To Kushina's question, Gaiwu lowered his head and said nothing. Namikaze Minato smiled and said, well, it doesn't matter if you don't want to be a ninja. However, I still want to teach you some basic things. Chakra refines, it is necessary for you to learn. No matter what job you'll be doing in the future, with chakra you'll be able to do more with less. The reason why Gaiwu was brought back was not only because he was an orphan picked up near the battlefield. It is also because of his good physical fitness that he has the qualifications to become a ninja. Otherwise, just send him to the orphanage, there is no need to take him to Konoha, let alone take him back to his home. Gaiwu couldn't refuse Namikaze Minato's proposal. Even if you are not a ninja, you can have chakra. Under the guidance of Namikaze Minato, Gaiwu quickly learned to refine chakra. Sitting by the river alone, watching the river rippling, Gaiwu took a deep breath and began to refine chakra. To a kid who didn't have the idea of being a ninja, Namikaze Minato won't be particularly concerned either. What's more, third generation has business with him from time to time these days, and has no time to supervise Gaiwu's practice. According to the method of Professor Namikaze Minato, Gaiwu began to refine chakra. A stream of air is generated at the dantian. However, it does not listen to Gaiwu's control, and does not flow through the meridians in a normal way. All chakra rushed straight to the eyes. Under the wrapping of chakra, the eyes have a strange feeling. This phenomenon made Gaiwu overjoyed. The world of Hokage should not be called the world of Hokage, but the world of eyes. Eyes are the root of everything. No matter what kind of eyes they are, they can throw ordinary people far away. Get close to the river and look at the reflection in the clear river. Under the activation of chakra, the pupils turned into 3 circles, and each circle has the appearance of 3 rounds of jade. Guyu Rinnegan, Gaiwu exclaimed. This hang is the strongest hang in the Hokage world. If you use these eyes well, you can be invincible from the beginning to the end. The only thing missing now is chakra. But, plenty of chakra is not something an average 5-year-old can have. Guyu Rinnegan has its own special ability, which still needs a little digging. Like Sasuke's heavenly hand power in the later period, and Uchiha Madara's wheel tomb, they are all very good time and space abilities. If my pair of Guyu Rinnegan can have the ability of time and space, it would be awesome. After suppressing the excitement in his heart, Gaiwu continued to refine chakra. Now that you have cheats, you should practice hard. But practicing does not mean becoming a ninja. Gaiwu will never go to the ninja school. If you have that time to play house with a group of children, it is better to stay in your own small shop and earn some easy money. Be an Angson as a shop owner. Start a small business to earn a little money, and when encountering suitable events, hide your identity to earn some benefits. Things that are not beneficial or meaningless to Gaiwu. Withdraw the chakra around the eyes, and the pupils will not show the state of Guyu Rinnegan. Very ordinary black pupils, not attracting anyone's attention at all. In the original book, when Sasuke chakra was exhausted, Guyu Rinnegan also returned to the state of normal pupils, which is the principle. After finishing a day of practice and returning home, Namikaze Minato has not returned, and Kushina is alone at home. Gaiwu, hearing the sound of the door opening, Kushina looked out the door. The perception ability of the Uzumaki clan, even if she didn't use it deliberately, is much stronger than ordinary ninjas. With just one glance, she saw the difference in Gaiwu. There is good chakra in the body after just one day of practice. Concentrate on walking on the road of ninja, he will soon reach. Putting down the things in his hands, he looked at Gaiwu and said softly, Gaiwu, don't you really want to be a ninja? Gaiwu nodded and said solemnly, I don't want to be a ninja. After I finished, I added another sentence in my heart. I don't even want to be a Konoha shinobi. Kushina persuaded again. Your aptitude is quite good, and you have such a chakra amount in just one day of practice. As long as you concentrate on practicing, you can definitely become a Jonin in the future. Jonin, don't insult yourself, this pair of Guyu Rinnegan, okay. Moreover, Konoha has a legend. When you meet Chunin, just wave casually, when you meet Jonin, use dim sum, and when you meet Genin, run quickly. Gaiwu shook his head firmly. Kushina sighed. It's a pity. I have a good relationship with the teacher. As long as you are willing, he will definitely teach you carefully. Gaiwu still shook his head. Being a ninja is not good at all. Being a super powerful shop owner is much better than being a ninja. Knowing that she couldn't persuade Gaiwu, Kushina could only sigh softly. He is obviously a good seedling, but he doesn't have the heart to be a ninja. Perhaps this is the psychological shadow brought to him by the war. It doesn't matter if you don't become a ninja, you don't have to face life and death. It's also good to stay in the village and enjoy the protection of ninjas. Night, Namikaze Minato ran home with a happy face. Kushina, I'm going to be Hokage. Namikaze Minato immediately ran to Kushina and told her the good news. You're going to be a Hokage. Hearing the news, Kushina was even more excited than him. Hokage is a common dream that the two have had since they were very young. Because of this dream, Namikaze Minato secretly pays attention to Kushina. When the Cloud Shinobi ninja sneaked into the village, Kushina was rescued in time, and the relationship between the two was settled. I'm going to be Hokage. Namikaze Minato hugged Kushina. Seeing this warm scene, Gaiwu, who was sitting next to him, couldn't bear to interrupt. What this young couple was asking for was actually quite simple. Namikaze Minato just wants to be a good Hokage, protect the village, and protect the people in the village. It doesn't matter if you sacrifice for the villagers. Kushina just wants to be with Namikaze Minato and watch Naruto grow up. Be a good wife and mother, educate the child, and watch him grow little by little. Although with Kushina's character, it is more likely that Naruto will grow up beating him. It's a very simple couple, but both of them died because of Uchiha Obito's conspiracy. For Gaiwu, the death of this young couple is the biggest regret in Hokage. Namikaze Minato put down Kushina, walked to Gaiwu and sat down. With his perception ability, he naturally sensed the changes in Gaiwu's body. Just one day of practice has a good amount of chakra. As long as you practice diligently, you can definitely become a top ninja. Gaiwu, be a ninja, I will become a Hokage in the future, and I can provide you with a lot of training resources. Gaiwu shook his head firmly. Minato-san. If possible, I hope you can lend me some money. I don't have big dreams like yours. I just want to open a small shop, earn a little money, and live a peaceful life for the rest of my life. Namikaze Minato frowned slightly, glanced at Kushina, saw her shake her head, and knew that she had persuaded Gaiwu before him. Since he made up his mind that he didn't want to be a ninja, there was no point in forcing it. I still have some savings over the years. I'll prepare the money you need to open a shop for you. When you make money in the future, just send some gifts to our family Naruto. It means that you don't have to pay back the borrowed money. Namikaze Minato has sympathy and pity for the child Gaiwu. He lost his parents in the war, and if he hadn't happened to meet himself, he wouldn't have lived long. He has no idea of being a ninja, and wants to open a shop to support himself. Sending him a sum of money is considered as atonement for Konoha's harm to some innocent people in this war. And, Namikaze Minato also wants to use Yeba Gaiwu as a role model. Let your child be self-reliant like Yeba Gaiwu when he was very young. Gaiwu shook his head and looked at Namikaze Minato solemnly. Minato-san, thank you for bringing me back to Konoha, you are my savior. This kindness has already been owed a lot, and I will definitely pay you back when I make money. Although it is only a 5-year-old body, it has the IQ of a 20-year-old. Integrity. It is the principle that Gaiwu has always followed. Although he is a time traveler, he also has his own cheats. But no matter how strong a cheat is, it is meaningless without chakra. In a chaotic battlefield, a 5-year-old child has no ability to protect himself. Had it not been for Namikaze Minato to bring himself back, he would most likely have died on the battlefield. Those red-eyed ninjas don't care whether you are the enemy or not. If you meet someone you don't know, kill them first. Variations in the Hokage world sneaked in and technique was used very deftly. No one can guarantee that a 5-year-old child is not transformed by an enemy ninja. So, to be honest, Namikaze Minato has saved his life. Namikaze Minato smiled slightly, and pressed his right hand on Gaiwu's head. You know how to repay kindness at a young age, you are really good. I'll invest 200,000 yuan in your small store first, and you can choose the location yourself. As a Hokage, it's very easy to help you set up a store. Only then did Yeba Gaiwu laugh. Although the 200,000 yuan in the Hokage world is not very valuable, it is still enough for the initial operation. Another one, Gaiwu is just a 5-year-old kid now, and he doesn't plan to build a big store. I run it by myself and earn a little money slowly. As you grow older, you can make the store bigger. Set a small goal first. Beyond Ichiraku Ramen. That's right. After a few days of thinking, Gaiwu felt that it was most suitable to open a snack bar. Foodies. It is indispensable in any world. As long as it is delicious enough to make by yourself, it will soon spread throughout Konoha. Just like Ichiraku, there are endless ramen every day. Cooking some street food by yourself can make you a lot of money if you gain fame. The most important thing is that I am stuck in a small shop and lack access to external information. Most of the people who come to eat in the small shop will chat. They will definitely not say anything about the task. But some small things will be talked in small talk. I can analyze some profitable things from it. Naturally, those who can make a lot of money cannot be let go. What Ninja World War Akatsuki organizes those things? Gaiwu is not interested at all. I'm not from this world, and I don't want to be a ninja. If you have the strength to protect yourself, no one can jump in front of you. Uchiha Madara, they can do whatever they like. As long as you don't toss it on yourself, it's none of your business. I only want to earn a small living by myself. Be a shop owner that no one can afford. Isn't it fragrant? Why jump around and attract people to bombard you? All three of Namikaze Minato's family slept soundly that night. Someone's dream came true. Some people can start their own small shop and live a comfortable life after getting the money. Early the next morning, Gaiwu went out to look for a storefront. Gaiwu has long thought about the location of the store. Just next door to Ichiraku. We made it clear that we were going to sing against you. Another point is that the Calamus girl is about the same age as me, so it's a good thing to tease her when she has nothing to do. Besides, Ichiraku is a ramen maker, and he can make snacks by himself, so he can rub his customers. Coincidentally, there happened to be an empty facade near Ichiraku. A small facade of less than 20 square meters. For Gaiwu, who is only 5 years old, such a facade is big enough. After confirming the facade, Gaiwu went to the Ichiraku store next door. Welcome. Uncle Ichiraku smiled when he saw someone coming in. The current Ichiraku is only in his early 30s. Although he is not as handsome as Kakashi, he is still a handsome guy. Especially when he was accompanied by a little loli who saw Gaiwu coming in, hid behind Ichiraku, and looked at Gaiwu curiously. Uncle Ichiraku, can I ask you a favor? Gaiwu hopped lightly and sat down on the chair in front of the bar. Ichiraku was stunned for a moment, and leaned in front of Gaiwu to look at him carefully. Handsome and immature little face. The height seems to only reach his waist. There was a sense of wisdom in those eyes. That's the feeling you've been through a lot. It's not time to eat. There are no customers in the store. If it's not something troublesome, it's okay to help this little guy. Little friend, are you lost and want me to show you the way home? Ichiraku said kindly. Gaiwu shook his head and pointed to the facade next door. I want to rent that facade, and I would like your help to contact the landlord. Namikaze Minato had a lot of handover tasks at the beginning of his tenure. Gaiwu felt that it was completely unnecessary to bother him with such a trivial matter. Although this is just a matter of his words, it is much easier for him to operate. Ichiraku blinked a pair of big dazed eyes, looking at the little boy in front of him who was only as tall as his waist. Calamus became even more curious, and walked around from behind the bar, hid most of his body inside the bar, secretly peeping at Gaiwu. You want to rent a shop? Ichiraku asked suspiciously. Gaiwu nodded and said seriously, I want to make money to support myself. Seeing Gaiwu's determined eyes, Ichiraku's expression became serious. Although Gaiwu seems to be only 4 or 5 years old, the words he said are simply not what a 5-year-old child can say. Children in the Hokage world are generally more mature. Children from big families have already started ninja training when they were 4 or 5 years old. Some of them are very talented and already have a certain combat effectiveness at this time. But those are all excellent genes born in a big family, as well as an inherently superior educational environment. When the children of ordinary families are 4 or 5 years old, they still play in mud and get into trouble. When Gaiwu was 4 or 5 years old, he wanted to open a shop to make money to support himself. Ichiraku has been in Konoha for so many years and has never met him. What kind of goods can he sell as a child? Does he know how to make money? Ichiraku asked solemnly, Kids, it's not easy to make money by opening a store. Are you sure you can do it? For this little boy who has the idea of self-reliance at the age of 5. Ichiraku came interested. It's not impossible to help him. Gaiwu said seriously, I'm sure I can do it. Although the body is only 5 years old, the mental age is more than 5 years old. Running a small shop of your own is perfectly fine. Okay, I'll help you contact the landlord, you wait for me here. Walking to the door, Ichiraku suddenly thought of something, looked at Gaiwu and said, Please take a look at my shop. I'm the one who caused you trouble. Gaiwu said softly. Ichiraku smiled and walked out. For such a little boy who knows how to be self-reliant at the age of 5, he is quite at ease. Let Dianzi and Calamus let him have a look, there will be no problem. Ichiraku went out to find the landlord, and Ayame was even more frightened. She was only 3 years old and had never been left alone in the shop. But he is very interested in this little big brother trusted by his father. Hiding behind the bar, she asked timidly, You, what's your name? After asking this question, she poked her head out from behind the bar counter quietly. Facing her was a handsome and immature face, which made her shrink her neck back quickly in fright. My name is Yeba Gaiwu. Yeba Gaiwu, what a strange name. A child's fear is only for a moment, especially among peers. Seeing Gaiwu talk to him, Calamus stood up and looked at Gaiwu curiously. He said excitedly, Why do you want to open your own shop to make money? Alas, Gaiwu sighed with an adult face full of vicissitudes. People's life is inseparable from money at any time. Whether it's a ninja or an ordinary person, or someone who dreams of Hokage. The first thing they want to do is make money. Whether it's doing tasks to make money or opening a shop to make money, it's all for living. Only when people can live well can they be qualified to pursue their dreams. Although Calamus didn't understand a word, he felt that what the little big brother said was very powerful. Especially the look on his face when he said those words. It looks a bit like my father. This little big brother looks solid. It's also amazing. Then what is your dream? Calamus asked curiously. A yearning smile appeared on the corner of Gaiwu's mouth. I really want to talk about dreams. That is to be a small shop owner that no one can mess with. With a strength that no one can match, he opened a small shop and started his own small business. The shop doesn't have to be too big. I can support myself, enough for my family, and save a little money. I don't have to be so tired. Do a little when you want to do business. When you want to play, you can also take your future wife and children to play around the world. But such a dream can be spoken out at this time. Always feel a little embarrassed. Too salty fish. Also too bland. Seeing Gaiwu's yearning smile, Calamus said in a daze, Your dream looks great. Really? Gaiwu scratched the back of his head. Has the life of a salted fish become a great dream? Calamus's small face is full of seriousness, saying every word. I can see from your smile just now that you like that kind of life very much. As long as it is what you like, it must be the best dream. Ha ha. Gaiwu chuckled and stroked Calamis's little head. What a smart and cute little girl. Let myself, who has a psychological age of 20 years old, have a good impression of her. Kakashi, don't look listless. Life is about blooming youth. Our youth has just begun. Youth is all about competition. Come on, my opponent in life, today's competition is to eat ramen. Whoever eats more will be the winner today. A passionate voice sounded outside the ramen shop. Gaiwu looked around and found a stool, stood on it and looked at the two people who came in from outside. Most of his face was covered by a mask. Although the gray hair is very stylish, his face is listless, like an internet addict who often stays up all night. There was a hint of sadness in the eye that was not covered by the forehead protector. This is Hitaki Kakashi. People in the rivers and lakes say that Hitaki is 50-50. It's 50-50 for everyone. Now he just lost two partners from childhood to adulthood. Obito was hit by a stone in order to save him, and half of his body was smashed by the stone. Although he was rescued by Uchiha Madara, he didn't know it, and he was always in self-blame. Nohara Lin was killed by him. Although it was Rin Nohara who bumped into Reikiri himself, he couldn't avoid the guilt and self-blame. So much so that he, a young boy, was deeply involved in guilt and self-blame all day long, and he couldn't get rid of it no matter what. It won't take long for Namikaze Minato to let him protect Kushina as Hokage's direct subordinate Anbu. The purpose is to let him feel the birth of life and be free from that guilt and self-blame. But Namikaze Minato had the right idea. But because he is not Kakashi, he cannot fully understand Kakashi's mentality. That kind of protection doesn't affect Kakashi's mentality much. The other is a shiny watermelon head with thick eyebrows that almost reach the eye sockets. The excitement on his face was clearly written. Youth. Blood. This is a man who never knows pessimism. He can face anything with a very optimistic attitude. Some time ago, in order to protect him, Might Guy evacuated from the siege of the 7 ninja swordsmen. Open 8 gate to 1 against 7, kill 4, and he himself died. He can still live with a smile on his face, practice hard, and will not bring the sorrows of the past into his current life. Huh, who are you? Might Guy forced Kakashi into the Ichiraku ramen. Seeing a strange and immature face appearing behind the bar, he said with a puzzled face. Kakashi's gaze focused on Yeba Gaiwu's face. With Sharingan's memory ability, he can be sure that this face only recently appeared in Konoha. Never seen such a face before. Gaiwu said softly with a smile on his face. Hello. My name is Yeba Gaiwu. What would you like to eat? Miso char shao. Might Guy stared at Gaiwu, the word interest gradually appeared on his face, and asked curiously, can you make ramen? Gaiwu smiled slightly. Of course. Although it may not be as delicious as Uncle Ichiraku's. Might Guy's interest in Gaiwu soars. No matter how you look at it, Gaiwu is only 4 or 5 years old now. And he is already 13 years old, and he only visits places like the kitchen occasionally after losing his father recently. But every time I made a mess, I had to go out to eat in the end. Kakashi found a stool and sat down, and said softly, Miso char shao. Thank you. Okay. Gaiwu looked at Might Guy and asked with a smile, what about you? What do you need? Same. Serve 5 big bowls first, and then 5 big bowls for Kakashi. Might Guy increased Kakashi's appetite in such a simple and easy way. Wait a minute. Gaiwu jumped off the stool. The two people in front of the bar only saw a black hair walking around inside. Calamus looked at Gaiwu nervously. I'll make ramen for my father when he comes back. Kakashi and Guy are regular customers in the store, and she is afraid that Gaiwu will not greet these two customers well. Gaiwu smiled slightly and rubbed her head habitually. Don't worry. I can do well. Food has always been Gaiwu's hobby. All kinds of cuisines like to study. Ramen only. Although it can't taste like Ichiraku, it's not too bad. His confident demeanor made Calamus say nothing, and followed Gaiwu with a stool. Pass him a stool anytime and let him cook ramen. He is young and only so tall. There is no stool to stand on, and he can only reach the kitchen countertop. Not long after, Gaiwu stood on the stool and brought the ramen to the two of them. Enjoy your meal. Seeing that the ramen is not inferior to Ichiraku in color at all, Might Guy picked up his chopsticks and started to eat it. Kakashi didn't start, looking at Gaiwu behind the bar, searching for some information in his mind. Are you the one the teacher brought back? Gaiwu nodded and said softly, Kakashi, if you don't start eating, you will lose to Guy in this game. Kakashi glanced at Might Guy next to him. In just a few words, he had eaten a third of his big bowl of ramen. If there is no accident, I will lose this time in the competition. But he didn't take it seriously. He stared at Gaiwu and said softly, I'm afraid that you will let down the teacher's painstaking efforts. What kind of person Namikaze Minato is, Kakashi knows very well. The boy who can be brought back to Konoha by him must have the talent to become a ninja. Although he would save some orphans on the battlefield, he would not bring him back to Konoha, let alone bring him to live in his home. Orphanages are everywhere, especially after this Ninja World War. There are many more orphans in orphanages all over the world. At Yeba Gaiwu's age, it's time to lay a good ninja foundation. He is standing here with Ichiraku Ramen, cooking ramen so skillfully, obviously he doesn't want to be a ninja. Gaiwu smiled slightly. There are many ways to repay a favor, and you don't have to be a ninja to repay a favor. Kakashi nodded and said nothing more. I am still deeply distressed and guilty, so what right do I have to judge others? Although Kakashi is a bit slower than Guy, he is not slow at all to eat ramen. By the time the 5 bowls of ramen reach the 4th bowl, it is almost the same as Guy. Landlord, this is this, Ichiraku said while walking, and was stunned when he saw Kakashi and Guy eating hazel. I am not in the store, who made ramen for them? Uncle Ichiraku. Seeing Ichiraku come back, Gaiwu jumped off the stool and went around to the front. Ichiraku stared blankly at Gaiwu, then at Kakashi and Guy who were eating ramen. Confused, he said, did you make the ramen they ate? Gaiwu smiled shyly. Although it's not as delicious as your cooking, it seems that their food is not bad, so it should be okay. Ichiraku nodded blankly. The 4 empty bowls on the counter had already told him. Gaiwu's ramen must be delicious. Otherwise, Kakashi and Guy wouldn't have eaten so much. Suddenly, he thought of a possibility, looked at Gaiwu and said, you don't want to open a ramen shop, do you? It's that he wants to rent the front door next door. The landlord looked at Gaiwu in a daze. How old is he? She looked no more than 4 or 5 years old. Although he has a culinary skill recognized by Kakashi and Guy. But the problem is, he is too small. Shouldn't you enjoy the doting of your parents at home at this age? What does it mean to rent a shop alone? What, you want to open a shop? Guy stared at Gaiwu and asked in horror. There was a feeling of the sky falling and the ground falling in my heart. Nima, I am 13 years old, and the next time I make a mess in the kitchen. And this boy, who is more than half his junior, wants to open his own shop. Guy, who has never conceded defeat, burst into tears. Incomparable. In terms of cooking, there is no way to compare with Gaiwu. Kakashi took the opportunity to finish off the ramen in the bowl. Guy was attracted by Gaiwu's words. He almost won it. Now, facing this opponent in life, you have to show 12 points of strength. A match that was bound to be lost, but with all my efforts, I won. The winning Kakashi had a big smile on his face. My father passed away, Obito and Rin Nohara died too, and the only time I could laugh was when I was playing against Guy. After all, Guy is also the opponent in his life. No matter what method is used to win Guy, it is a win. Feeling something was wrong, Guy looked at Kakashi's empty bowl and a few noodles floating in his own bowl. He roared in grief and indignation, "Ah! Kakashi, you! Kakashi completely ignored Guy's yelling, put his hands in his trouser pockets, smiled and said, Guy. Thank you for the hospitality, I will win you one more time. Tears of youthful grief and anger flowed down Guy's cheeks. Even if you lose the game, these 10 bowls of ramen have to be paid for by yourself. Blue skinny, mushroom. Gaiwu smiled slightly. Guy is just a funny character. It's hilarious anytime except when you're on 8 Gate. Looking at Ichiraku, he said softly, Uncle Ichiraku, I don't want to open a ramen shop, I like to make snacks. Phew, Ichiraku exhaled softly. He was really worried that Gaiwu would open a ramen shop next to him. His young age is itself a point of attraction for customers. Another child from the next door that parents use to educate their own children. In addition, he is only so young and has ramen skills that are not much worse than his own. It is not impossible to give him a few years to surpass himself. You can imagine the stress of opening the same ramen shop next to such a culinary genius. Fine, he doesn't want to open a ramen shop, so he can talk about everything. Pointing to a big belly following behind, he smiled and said, "This is the landlord." Gaiwu said softly, "Hello, landlord." The big belly looked at Gaiwu carefully, and the interest in his eyes became more and more intense. "You came out to open a shop at such a young age, isn't your family worried?" There was a gloomy look on Gaiwu's expression. Although the dead parents in this world have nothing to do with him, but now he must sympathize. At this time, gaining sympathy is equivalent to reducing rent. Now is the initial stage of the shop, it is a little bit to save a little bit. My parents died in the war, and in order to survive, I had to come out and open a shop. I have to support myself, and I must become an upright person like them in the future. It was a sad voice. The voice and emotion vividly express a heroic orphan whose parents sacrificed to protect everyone. If there is an actor in this world, it definitely belongs to Gaiwu. Everyone in the store was moved by Gaiwu, and Ichiraku quietly wiped away his tears. "What a poor child, your parents sacrificed for everyone's safety, and I will help you pay half of your rent." Descendants of heroes. There should be the treatment enjoyed by the descendants of heroes. I should enjoy their protection in the village and provide support to their orphans. Gaiwu shook his head firmly. "Uncle Ichiraku, you have helped me a lot, so I can't trouble you anymore. I still have some money, and I can afford the rent of the house." She shook her lips at the right time, a picture of being an orphan of a hero. "I have my own persistence and my own proud appearance. It doesn't make sense to ask Ichiraku to help with the rent of the house. Asking the landlord to reduce or exempt rent is the most meaningful thing. I don't owe favors to myself. There is no way to owe that favor to Namikaze Minato. Always find a way to repay him. There is no need to owe Ichiraku this favor at all." The big belly landlord wiped his tears and said, "What a stubborn heroic orphan. What a great spirit. I'll give you free rent for 3 years. When you grow up a bit, I'll charge you some rent." Hearing this, Gaiwu looked at the big belly landlord gratefully, but his heart burst into laughter. The previous emotional performance rendered himself as an orphan of Konoha shinobi. There are only a few people who know their true identities. They are all busy people, and they will not jump out and declare their true identities because of such a small matter. So, 3 years rent-free. That's all for a show. Thank you for no money, send it immediately. Thank you for taking care of me. When I grow up, I will definitely pay the full rent. The landlord with a big belly is not a poor person, and the 3-year rent for such a small store is nothing to him. The main reason is that Gaiwu came out to open a store at such a young age. Plus parents died in war for peace. Waive his rent for 3 years. For a rich man like him, it's just a little respect for the hero. Try hard. After speaking, the pot-bellied landlord gave Gaiwu the key and left. The main reason is that as soon as he compares his own child with Gaiwu, he can't wait to go back and beat him up immediately. "This is the kid next door. I knew I was making money when I was only 5 years old. In my own house, I know all kinds of troubles for myself all day long." Compared with the two, he was angry from the bottom of his heart, and he would feel sorry for himself if he didn't beat him up. After getting the key, Gaiwu smiled at Ichiraku and said, "Uncle Ichiraku. Thank you. You're welcome. If you need help, feel free to come to me," Ichiraku said hastily. Gaiwu felt even happier. How nice. Another free laborer that is available on call. Open the store door. After tidying up, Gaiwu started today's practice. There is no rush to run a small shop, there is still plenty of time. The bodies of Dianzi and the 5-year-old are extremely confusing. If you practice here by yourself, no one will pay attention to yourself. A person who concentrates on running a small business, who would put too much energy on himself. There is no wrong way to practice and make money. He will not bring hatred to himself. Night. Go back to Namikaze Minato's house. Although the store has been settled, Gaiwu has no plans to move there. If you want to completely get rid of the sight of some people in Konoha, you must first enter their sight. Then let them down with a mediocre than average performance. No one will pay attention to themselves anymore. Whatever they do will be ignored by the mediocrity implanted in their hearts. He is only 5 years old now, even with Yagyu Rinnegan, he will not be invincible yet. It's best not to attract someone's attention. Root base. Shimura Danzo looked at the data collected by the geninists. Yeba Gaiwu, ordinary civilian with the qualifications to become a ninja, but repeatedly rejected the invitations of Namikaze Minato and Kushina, only wishing to be an ordinary shopkeeper. There was a cold light in the corner of his eyes. The information in his hand turned into powder under his slight force. How stupid. Having the talent to be a ninja but not wanting to be a ninja is so stupid. In Shimura Danzo's view, only ninjas are masters. Yeba Gaiwu clearly has the opportunity to become a master but is willing to be ordinary. It doesn't make sense for such a person to give him the best cultivation resources. He has no intention of cultivating, and is willing to be a little man. Forcibly pulling him into the root organization is just a waste of resources, not worthy of attention at all. Namikaze Minato has long been the object of his attention, and he has a lot of attention to the people around him. Unfortunately, Namikaze Minato is a direct descendant of the third generation, and it is completely impossible to draw him into his camp. Now that he is Hokage, the third generation is even stronger. The roots urgently need a group of new generation forces to join. Otherwise, I will completely lose the ability to compete with Sarutobi Hiruzen. Suddenly, Shimura Danzo's eyes lit up. He muttered softly, Namikaze Minato can find someone with Yeba Gaiwu's qualifications among the battlefield orphans, why can't I? Go to the battlefield to find orphans for me. A lot of new forces are needed. The root ninjas rushed out of the base immediately, and they would never object to Shimura Danzo's words. Feel the empty root base. Think of Namikaze Minato who has already taken the position of Hokage. The corners of his mouth couldn't help twitching. Although third generation retreated in name, it secretly influenced the decision of Namikaze Minato, the fourth Hokage. Although he is not Hokage, he has more rights than Hokage. Sarutobi Hiruzen played too casually with the trick of retreating. Abdicating the throne and making concessions in the peace talks with Rock Shinobi gave him a very high reputation in Konoha. Konoha's defeat in World War III was also suppressed by such prestige. Let him continue to develop, and the future Konoha will be his words. As a ninja of the same level, I will have no ability to compete with him. My strength must become stronger. Shimura Danzo snorted heavily. Since the power is no match for Sarutobi Hiruzen, then improve your own strength. Only when the strength is strong, can we continue to maintain an equal competitive position with Sarutobi Hiruzen. Konoha. It was never his Sarutobi Hiruzen Konoha. He will always be his competitor. The position of Hokage is by no means decided by Sarutobi Hiruzen and those two consultants. Even if you are overwhelmed by them now, you must take back the position that belongs to you in the future. Namikaze Minato's house. After cleaning, Gaiwu habitually walked to his room. Gaiwu. Kushina yelled softly. Gaiwu turned around and looked at Kushina. Seeing that she looked a little dazed, she already had some clarity in her heart. It's been less than 6 months since little Naruto was born. The more this time, the more difficult it is for pregnant women to stabilize their mood. Why? Minato has just taken over from Hokage and has so much going on that he hasn't been home for several days. It is reasonable for Kushina's mood to deteriorate. Now she just wants to find someone to talk to. It's been a while since I came to this house, but it's not convenient for Kushina to go out because of her status as Nine-Tails Jinchuriki. The only one she could talk to was herself, a 5-year-old child. Although she thought she might not understand, she could speak out what was in her heart. Sit down across from Kushina and stare at the red-haired pregnant woman. Gaiwu, do you think Minato will come back today? Kushina said with blank eyes. Gaiwu thought for a while, then said softly, he guards Konoha, the big family, and you guard his small family. Although the goals are different, they are all guarding the same home. Kushina froze for a moment, savoring what Gaiwu said carefully. A warm current waded through my heart. Very peace of mind. After Minato became Hokage, she felt very comfortable with the peace of mind she hadn't had for a long time. The heart is warm, and the smile comes naturally. Kushina's blank gaze focused on Gaiwu. Guard his little home. Gaiwu nodded seriously. Kushina stared at Gaiwu. What about you? What are you guarding? Since you came to this house, I don't need to do anything at home except when the store is busy. Are you protecting me? Gaiwu was stunned for a moment. He already knew the answer to this question in his heart. I don't want to be a ninja, but I like to do things around the house. I have failed Minato-san's expectations of me, so I can only repay him in other ways. There was a strange look in Kushina's eyes, and he said softly, Gaiwu. You are not good at lying. Gaiwu shrugged. He knew what Kushina was talking about. Although he doesn't want to be a ninja, let alone Konoha's ninja, Gaiwu has never failed in his practice. How could Kushina, who lives together every day, not see the increase of her chakra? The Uzumaki family has a strong talent in perception. Kushina smiled and said, in just 1 month, you already have more chakra than Genin. Your chakra refining talent is really amazing. Gaiwu shrugged and said nothing. Rinnegan deserves to be the biggest bug in the Hokage world, not only has a variety of basic abilities. It is also very helpful for chakra practice. Looking at those who have Rinnegan, which one does not have a chakra amount far beyond ordinary people? During this month, Gaiwu has been studying Rinnegan's basic abilities. Gaiwu has not researched his own special ability. Special abilities are uncontrollable. A special ability that I don't know at all, and if I don't use it properly, it will cause some unnecessary troubles. This conflicts with Gaiwu's principle of wanting to develop. And those basic abilities. For example, Shenluo Tianzhang and Universal Pull can all be controlled within a small range. Experimenting in his own small shop will not attract the attention of outsiders. I don't want to be a ninja. Gaiwu emphasized again. Kushina sighed softly. It's a pity that you are not a ninja with your talent. However, you can't hide the fact that you have the talent for chakra refining. Gaiwu shrugged his shoulders and said seriously, even if someone finds out that I have such a talent, I will not become a ninja. Kushina said softly, let me help you. My sealing technique can make your chakra undetectable, and you can practice and use it freely. The Uzumaki family is best at sealing techniques, and Minato's sealing techniques are all learned from Kushina. Thank you for your hard work. Gaiwu knew that there was no reason to shirk this matter. Although I owe the Minato couple another favor, it doesn't matter. When Naruto was born, the favor owed could be repaid together. Kushina quickly formed the mudra with both hands, and after finishing the mudra, she pressed her right hand on Gaiwu's abdomen. A sealing array centered on Gaiwu's abdomen and spread to the meridians of his whole body. I sensed the operation of my own chakra, and there was no abnormality, and there were no problems in other aspects. Okay, Kushina was very confident about her sealing technique. There is no one who can break through the sealing technique of the Whirlpool clan. It is completely impossible to see Gaiwu's chakra practice through the sealing technique. But, there is another person who knows Gaiwu's current situation. He is Kakashi, who crouched on the roof to protect Kushina. But does that matter? Kakashi has never been a talkative person. Kushina must have her reasons for doing such a thing. Gaiwu has chakra not wanting to be found out and has his own reasons. As an outsider, it is enough to know these things, and there is no need to tell anyone. Speak up. Kakashi is also very envious of Gaiwu's talent. In just 1 month of practice, there is a chakra that surpasses Genin. I have a very unique talent in ninjutsu, but it is very general in chakra refining. Ninjutsu like Reikiri, with the current amount of chakra, can only be used up to 3 times before it can never be used again. As Jonin himself, chakra is not much more than Gaiwu. It won't be long before Gaiwu's chakra will exceed his own, and no one will know yet. If he becomes a ninja, it will be a very good assassin ninja. Lying on the roof looking at the stars, 2 figures gradually appeared in the starry sky. There was a heavy pain in my heart. Of these 2 people, one died to save himself, and the other was killed by himself. Whenever the night is quiet, I will think of the bits and pieces of the past. Now also learn Obito's habit life. Being late and helping the old lady cross the road, these things are done more and more. Every time I do these things, it feels like Obito is still there. Lin will definitely complain softly. The night was getting darker. After chatting with Kushina for a while, Gaiwu went back to his room to rest. Open your own snack bar early the next morning. An unexpected visitor made Gaiwu stunned. But, whoever comes as a guest. Gaiwu will not reject any guest. Welcome, what do you need? Gaiwu said softly. Uchiha Itachi was stunned, and sat down at a random place, and said softly, let me have some of your specialty snacks. The recent events made him very upset. There were some bad comments about Konoha in the clan. I don't know which side I should stand on and what to do. Gaiwu's storefront is only that big, and it's normal for customers to hear him making snacks. You can see it clearly when you stand up a little bit. The sound of grilling came from inside, and Uchiha Itachi frowned. It seems that this is not something I like. But I didn't care too much. Anyway, I just came out today to relax. I walked to the Ichiraku ramen restaurant after strolling around. I saw a new snack bar open next to it, so I just came in and sat down. It doesn't matter what you eat. It's the troubles that matter. There has never been a suitable person to talk about it, and it is impossible to find those unreliable people to tell those troubles. Not long. Gaiwu put the baked meatballs in front of Uchiha Itachi. Seeing this, Uchiha Itachi froze. Barbecue is the type of food he doesn't like. And meatballs are his favorite food. Use meatballs for grilling. What does the owner of this small shop think? Why can he grasp the most contradictory part of himself? What does this contradiction represent? He raised his head slightly and looked inside. Only then did he see clearly what kind of person the shop owner was. She looks much younger than herself. But it looks like 4 or 5 years old. He already runs a snack bar here. Uchiha Itachi frowned and asked, grilled meatballs. Can such a snack be delicious? Gaiwu smiled slightly and said softly, you can try it. Gaiwu is still very confident in his snack skills. Uchiha Itachi picked up a grilled meatball skewer, and the golden appearance was very appetizing. Coupled with the peculiar fragrance, Uchiha Itachi couldn't help being curious and sent it into his mouth. Just entered. Uchiha Itachi frowned. Hot. Very spicy. Very spicy. Subconsciously, I took out the baked meatball skewers. He doesn't like spicy food very much, and he would frown even with a little curry. He couldn't eat the kebab skewers with a lot of chili powder like Gaiwu's. Gaiwu lay on the counter looking at Uchiha Itachi. Try it again. The contradictory things are never on the surface, and there will be more things worthy of your taste inside. Huh. Uchiha Itachi stared blankly at Gaiwu. What he said is very interesting. Create the first contradiction with the food you like and the way you hate it. Then I use the spicy that I didn't like to create a second cause of conflict. What kind of flavor is contained in the meatball? This made Uchiha Itachi curious. Bite lightly. This time the spiciness felt less intense. The taste of the meatballs, plus a little bit of seasoning, gave Uchiha Itachi an appetite. Bite off a ball and savor it carefully. With this taste, Uchiha Itachi's brows became tighter and tighter. Suddenly, Uchiha Itachi, who understood, stared at Gaiwu with wide eyes. Wrong. This small shop owner, what he wants to show is never the contradiction of food. He showed his inner conflicts. It's on Konoha's side. Still on Uchiha's side. It is such a contradiction. In what contradictory position do you put what you don't like? How to distinguish the contradiction between Konoha and Uchiha? Seems like it's all in this snack. Thank you. Uchiha Itachi looked at Gaiwu and thanked him softly. Maybe the matter that I am hesitant to decide can be resolved in this small shop. Reflect the inner contradiction through the contradiction of food. Maybe this little boss didn't think so much, he just made a snack that he is good at. But the feeling reflected in my heart is completely different. The owner of this shop is ordinary, yet very different from other shop owners. This feeling full of contradictions cannot be experienced in other snack bars. Perhaps, I was able to find the balance of contradictions between Konoha and Uchiha in his shop. If only those different voices of Uchiha could be stopped. Let Konoha make peace with Uchiha. Restore the previous grand occasion of Senju and Uchiha cooperation. Then what you do is worth it. It's okay to not find the answer once. Uchiha Itachi has a feeling that the owner of this small shop is very unusual. He seems to have a kind of power that goes straight to the heart. Come here a few more times, and through his cooking of food, you may be able to find the answer in your heart. Cooking is life. This famous quote that I don't remember reading in any book came to my mind. Savoring the snack carefully, the stone on my heart seemed to be much lighter. Although I didn't tell anyone what was in my heart. But in a wordless way, Uchiha Itachi felt that someone was communicating with him. Depressed things in the heart can be shared with others, and they will not be known. This feeling seems pretty good. Chapter 11. When he finished eating and was about to pay the bill, Uchiha Itachi suddenly thought of something. Fold the money in half, place 2 bamboo sticks crosswise on the money, and hand the plate to Gaiwu. Boss, check out, Uchiha Itachi said with a smile. Seeing Uchiha Itachi's strange way of paying the bill, Gaiwu was slightly taken aback. Softly said, "If you can't think of an answer, come and eat next time." An inexplicable sentence. Only 2 people understand the words. Uchiha Itachi laughed. Haven't laughed so hard in a long time. There is finally someone to share with the things that weigh on my heart. Communicating in this silent way, you are not afraid of being known, and you don't have to worry about what you think will be leaked. Because I didn't do anything, and I didn't say anything. Even if Gaiwu said it, no one would believe it. Goodbye. There will be a next time. Uchiha Itachi waved and walked out. Gaiwu looked at Uchiha Itachi's back, with a kind smile on the corner of his mouth. I pointed out the contradiction for him, and asked him whether he wanted to stand on Konoha's side or Uchiha's side. He couldn't think of an answer, so he asked himself. 2 bamboo sticks represent Konoha and Uchiha. Intersecting together means that the contradictions between the 2 have been intersected and brought together. Is it conflict or reconciliation? What a change. It is determined by the money under the 2 bamboo sticks. And who that piece of money represented, he himself didn't know. Folding in half means that in his heart, Konoha and Uchiha have the same weight. The plate means that he is very confused now and doesn't know what to do. Because he couldn't figure it out, he said there would be a next time. Gaiwu also likes this silent way of communication. The 2 tacitly communicated in this way that they both understand each other. No one can understand what kind of communication they had. I will tell you what to do in my own way, and what the specific result will be, it's all up to you. Gaiwu looked at the street and muttered softly. For Uchiha Itachi, he can't say he likes it, nor can he say he hates it. It can only be said that everyone has his own pursuit, and what he wants to do is his business. What I can do is to provide him with some ideological help in small ways. About Uchiha's ending, Gaiwu didn't want to change. That is a problem left over from history, and it cannot be meddled by an outsider. Open your own snack bar and do your own thing well. Except for that matter with Minato, Gaiwu doesn't want to interfere with anything else. Due to the World War III, Konoha now has a lot less ninjas, and the per capita spending power has also dropped. There are far fewer people walking on the streets than before the war. The snack bar business is currently not losing money, but it can't make too much money. For Gaiwu, as a 5-year-old child, this is enough. Just as he was about to go back inside to practice, a curious head stuck out from the side. Seeing this head, Gaiwu was angry and funny. She was a generous and polite woman when she grew up, but now she is so shy. Calamus, what's the matter? Seeing that Gaiwu took the initiative to greet him, Calamus ran in bouncing. The business of the Ichiraku ramen restaurant next door is not very good. Iris often comes to play in his shop. There is not much difference in age, and Calamus can tell himself anything. Mr. Gaiwu, I want to learn how to make snacks from you, Calamus said courageously. The little face was already bright red. If you can learn to make snacks with Gaiwu, you can come to his shop to help him in the future. It must be hard work for him to open a shop at such a young age. I really want to help him. Gaiwu lightly touched Calamus's head, and said with a smile, aren't you afraid that Uncle Ichiraku knows? He'd love to pass on his ramen skills to you. Calamus shook his head. I just want to help you, father won't say anything. Gaiwu smiled helplessly. What the young Calamus thinks is very pure. I just want to help myself, I don't have any other ideas. She didn't know that there was a saying in the adults' world, teach the apprentice, starve the master to death. Feel the grievance gradually appearing in Calamus's big watery eyes. Gaiwu quickly said, you want to learn how to make snacks with me, yes? Yeah, Calamus was so excited that he couldn't control himself. A small child's way of expressing excitement and gratitude is with a light kiss on the face. So, Gaiwu's first kiss was taken away by a 3-year-old girl. touching the place on his face that was kissed by Calamus with a little dejection. My first kiss was not kissed by someone else, but snatched away by a little girl. This kind of thing, the more I think about it, the more uncomfortable it becomes. Looking at the Calamus, she said secretly in her heart, little girl. You are not sensible yet. When you grow up, let's see how I tell you to return your first kiss. Mr. Gaiwu, go and teach me how to make snacks. Calamus took Gaiwu's hand and ran inside. Gaiwu shook his head helplessly. Walking to the stove, starting a fire, putting oil and food in one go. The snacks he makes are not just barbecues, he also makes simple fried foods. During cooking, Gaiwu's eyes turn into Guyu Rinnegan state. The contents of the food can be seen very clearly with the pupil power of these eyes. The taste of the seasoning can also be seen clearly. Stretching out his left hand, the small-scale universal pull was activated, and the spices on the stove flew over and fell into Gaiwu's hands. Calamus watched Gaiwu's actions from the side, his mouth grew wide, and he didn't know what to say. Although she had already guessed that Gaiwu might be a ninja, such ninja abilities made her very envious. Unfortunately, not everyone has the talent to be a ninja. Calamus knows itself, and chakra refining is completely ineffective. Any other talent without chakra is empty talk. Chakra is the foundation of everything. You must have chakra to perform ninjutsu. Even physical arts must rely on chakra to exert their greatest power. Without ninjutsu talent, Ayame never thought of becoming a ninja. I'm not particularly envious of the ninjas either. However, seeing Gaiwu's unique way of cooking made her yearn for the profession of ninja. Gaiwu explained each seasoning to the Calamus in detail. Anyway, he doesn't have Guyu Rinnegan. Even if I teach her all the details, she still can't make her taste like herself. I'm used to using universal pull and Shinra when cooking, these days. And, doing so can also exercise one's own abilities, as well as chakra's ability to control. Just complete this stage of practice. Gaiwu knew that his strength would become very strong. Even with only Chunin's chakra, facing Jonin with 10 times his own chakra, he still has the strength to fight. Contacting these as purely for self-preservation, Gaiwu didn't intend to have any fight in Konoha. Chakra has Kushina's sealing technique, no one would consider himself a ninja. Be optimistic about your own small shop, and let others do the rest. After finishing the snack, just as I was about to explain the snack to Calamus, a voice came from outside. Hastily put away the chakra covering both eyes, making the pupils normal. Put down the prepared snacks and walk to the bar. It seems that for the two people who came in, Gaiwu could only sigh. Skillful. What a coincidence. Just sent off Uchiha Itachi. Orochimaru and Mitarashi Anko walked in. What a coincidence that Konoha's two traders came to his small shop on the same day. Orochimaru has little aspirations for this aspect of eating, and only hates cold food. Looking down, Orochimaru saw Gaiwu coming out from behind at a glance. His expression froze for a moment, and then his eyes sparkled with excitement. Teacher, the snacks here are very good. It's rare that you are free today. I would like to invite you to taste the snacks here. Mitarashi Anko looked at Orochimaru with hopeful expression. An imperceptible light flashed in Gaiwu's eyes. Mitarashi Anko's worship of Orochimaru has been deeply rooted in his bones. Orochimaru is also the person I admire and love the most. She doesn't resist Orochimaru like Sasuke. If Orochimaru needs her body, she will give it without hesitation. Unfortunately, Orochimaru is obsessed with the Uchiha clan. The curse seal planted on her body was just to test whether the curse seal could be successful. He didn't care about Mitarashi Anko's life or death at all. I don't know why I followed Mitarashi Anko to my small shop today. A visitor is a visitor. Although he doesn't like the cold guy Orochimaru, Gaiwu won't kick him out. Stand on the stool and take out the recipe. Welcome. What do you need? For Orochimaru, Gaiwu is definitely at a respectful distance. Even though his eyes had revealed his interest in him, Gaiwu didn't want to have a word with this guy. Interesting. Orochimaru's sharp tongue spread around his mouth like a snake letter. Every time he makes this action, it is when he is interested in a person or a thing. A 5-year-old kid. Run a small shop by yourself. How could such a child not arouse his interest? The only pity is that you can't feel any chakra in Gaiwu's body. If there is chakra, Maybe it will be a very good experiment. Mitarashi Anko knew what kind of person Orochimaru was, and took the recipe from Gaiwu. It's not the first time I've come to this small shop to eat. Came here for a snack before at the instigation of Might Guy and Kakashi and still can't forget the taste. It was rare today that Orochimaru didn't want to do the experiment, so he teased him and asked him to come out to eat. I want this, 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 and this. Mitarashi Anko ordered more than a dozen snacks in one go. It's all the things she thinks Orochimaru likes to eat, it doesn't matter if she likes it or not. She likes whatever Orochimaru likes. Teacher, what do you need? After ordering by himself, he handed the recipe to Orochimaru. Orochimaru didn't even look at it, and said softly, just order what you ordered. How could Orochimaru not know what kind of feelings Mitarashi Anko had for him? Now he is only interested in Gaiwu, not at all in Mitarashi Anko. If it wasn't for the experiment being watched too closely, how could he be willing to come out and wander around? Wouldn't it be nice to stay in the lab and work on living corpse reincarnation? This time, it took Gaiwu a little longer to prepare the snacks. Orochimaru is staring at himself outside, unable to use the universal pull to get the seasoning, and can only jump around on the stool. Certainly, Gyu Rinnegan is a must. It is with these eyes that such delicious snacks can be made. The snacks made without Gyu Rinnegan will be far worse. Gaiwu would never do something like smashing his own brand name. A small cook, Orochimaru is only interested in his body. Orochimaru had no interest in what he was doing inside. Interested in things, Orochimaru has always been very patient. Just like when a snake is hunting, it will observe the prey for a period of time, looking for the right time to strike. One hit kill. 10 minutes later, Gaiwu brought the first plate of prepared snacks to the bar. You two, please use it slowly. After speaking, he turned and walked back. The moment he turned around, Gaiwu felt a cold and stern look locked on him. It felt like being targeted by Lion Majesty. It may bite any part of itself and inject deadly venom at any time. The subconscious is going to work chakra blasts Orochimaru out with Shinra Tensei. However, this idea was suppressed to death by Gaiwu as soon as it was born. No matter how much you hate Orochimaru, you can't act at this time. The current peaceful life is good, and Gaiwu doesn't want to use his ability because of Orochimaru's whim. No matter how Orochimaru wanted to grab himself for an experiment, it was impossible to do it at this time. Night is the time for him to make a move. And at that time, I had already returned to Minato's house. That is a place Orochimaru dare not touch. Kushina is the Nine-Tails Jinchuriki, and her presence is a taboo. Who dares to touch her? What awaits him is Konoha's endless pursuit. After only a momentary pause, Gaiwu started to walk back. Calamus felt that Gaiwu's expression was a little strange, so he obediently stayed behind the bar without saying a word. The interest in Orochimaru's eyes grew even stronger. Interesting, interesting, it's really interesting. At that moment just now, I actually felt the fear of death coming. This little doll who doesn't look like 5 years old actually has the ability to kill me. It's really interesting. Orochimaru never concealed his interest in a person, grabbed a bunch of snacks and stared at the simply partitioned kitchen. At this time, Orochimaru found a very interesting place. The storefront is already small, but if it is separated like this, the outside space will be even smaller. There are also fewer guests that can be accommodated. Why is he separated like this? Is there something going on behind the scenes that cannot be discovered? Thinking of this, Orochimaru unleashes a small white snake, unnoticed by Mitarashi Anko. Control the little white snake to crawl back. Ah, Iris, who was hiding behind the bar, saw a little white snake crawling in, and screamed in horror. Snake creature. It has always been one of the most feared species for delicate girls. Don't come here, don't come here, Calamus yelled in a panic, trying to crawl over from the bar. But because of the fright, he couldn't even climb up the chair, let alone climb up the bar. Gaiwu hurried out of the kitchen. Seeing the little white snake on the ground, I immediately understood what was going on. Wild snake. I don't know where it crawled in. He ran to the kitchen and grabbed a large spoon from a frying pan. It hit the head of the little white snake. It all happened so fast. It never occurred to Orochimaru that there was another person behind the bar. They even forgot to control that little white snake to escape. Relying on the little white snake's own movements, how could it escape Gaiwu's big spoon in this narrow space? The boiling oil in the spoon splashed on the little white snake. The hot spoon held down the little white snake's head firmly. The aroma of fried white snake filled the air immediately. The head was fried, and the little white snake was roasted without struggling a few times. After moving the tail a few times, it can no longer move. Gaiwu grabbed the big spoon and took a spoonful, and put the whole little white snake into the big spoon. There is still a little oil in it to continue frying the little white snake. He raised the big spoon and walked around the bar counter to the outside. Looking at Orochimaru, he said softly, "I don't know where the wild snake came from." It surprised the two guests. Gaiwu has always been that people don't offend me, and I don't offend others. Since Orochimaru wanted to spy on him, he had violated his bottom line. Especially since he scared the calamus. This is the most unforgivable thing. There was coldness in Orochimaru's eyes. Gaiwu's words are declaring war on himself. How does it feel to be declared war by a 5-year-old? Orochimaru would love to laugh. But I can't laugh. She tried to spy on him but failed, and he killed a little white snake. How could this make him laugh? The sharp tongue circled around the lips, and Orochimaru stared at Gaiwu's back. This body hides a secret. Although it is much worse for the little white snake to lose its control flexibility. But he is a snake bred by one of the Sannin after all. Not just anyone can beat him to death. Not to mention that Gaiwu is just a 5-year-old kid. Especially the fear of death that I experienced before. This feeling can only be experienced when facing Hanzo of the Salamander during the Second Ninja World War. Mitarashi Anko felt that Orochimaru was staring at Gaiwu, and he couldn't help showing a look of disappointment in his eyes. Because he worships Orochimaru, he becomes his disciple and wants to be one step closer to him. Let him recognize his own existence and be interested in himself. Whether in life or practice, Mitarashi Anko hopes that Orochimaru can pay more attention to himself. However, Orochimaru can only pay so much attention to her. Mitarashi Anko also understood what was going on. I have no special talent, only study hard and want to be recognized by Orochimaru. Unfortunately, Orochimaru is more interested in those disciples who don't have blood successor boundaries. Perhaps, just to deceive people. It's not a day or two to study with Orochimaru, and I know more or less about his experiments. With myself as a disciple by my side, the attention from Hokage will be much less. Looking at Gaiwu's back, Mitarashi Anko envied him from the bottom of his heart. Orochimaru took a very strong interest in him. That's what you want and can't get. Throw the little white snake into the trash can, along with the big spoon. Gaiwu clapped his hands and walked into the shop with a harmless smile on his face. Two guests. Sorry, just threw away a large spoon, I don't have any kitchen utensils to use now. After all, no one knows whether that wild snake is poisonous or not. I can't let two guests get poisoned by eating my food. Ridicule. What Orochimaru felt was Chigogo's taunt. Gaiwu's words can be simplified into one sentence. Orochimaru, you want to tease me a little too tender. Don't steal the chicken and lose the rice. Hey, Orochimaru sneered at Gaiwu's anger. The cold light of the forest shone in his eyes. He has self-knowledge, and he will only be the one who suffers when talking to such a smart-mouthed kid. I'm too lazy to say a word. Anyway, I don't know how many children like Gaiwu have been arrested for experiments recently. Konoha never cared much about the disappearance of a child. Dare to mock yourself. Let him know the horrors of one of the Sannin at night. Not in the mood to eat anymore, Orochimaru got up and left. Teacher. Mitarashi Anko hurriedly threw down a piece of money and chased after him. Gaiwu picked up the money and was slightly taken aback when he saw the denomination. 5,000 yuan. The things you ate are only 2,000 yuan, and I will count them for you when you come back next time. Mitarashi Anko. Gaiwu felt that she was quite pitiful. Isshin just wants Orochimaru's approval and doesn't even mind being the body he uses for the living corpse reincarnation. However, Orochimaru only paid more attention to her for a while when he was testing the curse of the sky on her. Other times it is left to itself. If possible, Gaiwu hopes to reverse the deformed teacher-student relationship of Mitarashi Anko. Walking behind the bar, Gaiwu hurried over to see the shivering Calamus. Wow! Seeing Gaiwu approaching, Calamus rushed into his arms. Mr. Gaiwu, I was really scared to death just now, but luckily you were here. Patting Calamus on the back, he comforted softly, it's okay. With me here, I will definitely not let you get hurt. The hatred for Orochimaru has deepened. Scared the Calamus like this. Orochimaru, don't let me take a chance. Give me a chance, I must kill you, White Snake. Certainly, the premise of killing Orochimaru is that it does not affect the operation of the small shop. Gaiwu will not act in any situation that may expose his ability to the public and make him unable to run this small shop with peace of mind. Send the Iris to the Ichiraku ramen restaurant next door. Gaiwu went back to the shop and sat in the kitchen to practice. Night falls. Because the Third World War had just ended, there were not many people in Konoha who came out for activities at night. Gaiwu closed the store door and rushed home. Nothing happened along the way. Orochimaru didn't choose to do it on the street, probably because he wasn't sure enough not to alert anyone to take him away. Otherwise, with Orochimaru's character, he would never let himself go. Go back to Minato's house. Gaiwu habitually walked towards the kitchen. However, today the kitchen is occupied by another man. Mr. Gaiwu, how is the business in the store today? Seeing Gaiwu coming back, Minato asked softly. It's okay. It's a business like this every day, and it will probably take a while to get better. Minato understood what he meant. The 3 wars have just passed, and Konoha's hearts have not stabilized yet. Mr. Gaiwu, thank you for helping me take care of Kushina during this time. Minato looked at Gaiwu and thanked him softly. During this period of time, I have been busy with the handover work of Hokage, and I have no time to take care of my family. If he didn't know that Gaiwu is a young and sensible person who can do a lot for the family, he wouldn't be able to work with confidence. Minato-san, don't be so polite, I can't eat and live here for free, I should do something. Minato touched Gaiwu's head lightly, squatted down and looked directly at Gaiwu and said with a smile. I'll ask you to take care of Naruto after he was born. I feel relieved to have a big brother like you leading him. Gaiwu rolled his eyes, and said with a displeased face, don't make it look like you entrusted Naruto to me. You are his father, and you are the one who should watch him grow up. I was young, and the most I could do was take him down the river to catch fish and up the mountain to hunt for birds. It's absolutely fine to bring him down, I don't care about other things. Ha 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 ha. Minato and Kushina both laughed when they heard Gaiwu's words. Although some naughty words were said by children, it felt very warm. Although Gaiwu is young, he is not the kind of naughty kid. Perhaps because of his experience in the battlefield, his mental age is very mature. It is impossible for Gaiwu to do such things as fishing in rivers and hunting birds in mountains. With such a big brother, Naruto's childhood life will be rich and happy. The decision to bring Gaiwu home at the beginning. Now it seems really very sensible. Sitting on the roof, Kakashi felt sad for no reason. Muttering softly, go down the river to catch fish, go up the mountain to catch birds. Living in this chaotic environment, every day is all kinds of cultivation. He has never done those naughty things for children. I don't even know what it feels like to do those things. I still have some expectations in my heart. The war is over, all major villages need to recuperate, and there will be a period of peace in the ninja world. Neither Rin Nohara nor Uchiha Obito did those naughty things for kids. Should I also find an opportunity to do something like this? Make up for their childhood flaws. Kakashi, come down and try my craft. Hearing Minato's voice, Kakashi fell off the roof. The face under the mask was almost rigid, without any expression change. Glancing at Minato and Kushina, teacher. Kushina-san. Then he glanced at Gaiwu, and a look of anticipation flashed in his eyes. The things Gaiwu said sound very interesting. If you have time, I really want to try it. I found a stool and sat down, keeping my body straight. In the teacher's house, he didn't want to show something out of place. Kushina smiled and said, Mr. Gaiwu, you are not such a naughty kid. Gaiwu was not as reserved as Kakashi. He opened the refrigerator familiarly and took out a bottle of drink from it. He didn't even look at it, just threw it to Kakashi. Opened the drink and took a sip, said excitedly, a childhood without being naughty is not a complete childhood. Both Kushina and Minato froze for a moment. It always feels a little awkward to say such words from a person who knew at the age of 5 that he made money to support himself. But it makes sense. Children, why put so much burden on them? Be naughty when you should be naughty. Not naughty kids. Gives a not so intelligent vibe. Kakashi, who caught the drink thrown by Gaiwu, stared at the drink in a daze. He is so relaxed in the teacher's house, just like his own home. And what he said made sense. I started practicing when I was very young, and I never knew what playing was. Looking back now, the past years were nothing but practice, and there was nothing worth recalling at all. If there were those naughty things in my childhood, wouldn't it be interesting to recall later? Wouldn't it be more fun to reminisce about those naughty things with your friends? Sensing a change in Kakashi's expression, Minato immediately understood. Kakashi didn't have a naughty childhood, let alone a complete childhood. His father's death made him bear a lot of things. In addition, Nohara Rin and Obito had divorced him some time ago, and his heart has been completely closed. Except that the optimistic guy can bring a little warmth to his life. The rest of the time he was alone. However, Guy is a madman who cultivates like crazy all day long. With that kind of cultivating madman, Kakashi's life will be even more bleak. Let him protect Kushina in the hope that he can come out of those memories. Look at Gaiwu. He doesn't have any restraint in his life here, and he can do whatever he wants. Can help myself cook for Kushina, and also adjust Kushina's emotions. This kid is really nice. Let him live with Kakashi for a while, maybe he can bring Kakashi out of the past. Although Gaiwu is younger than Kakashi, Minato thinks that his mental age is suitable to be Kakashi's big brother. Kakashi, I'm not very busy during this period. I'll give you a few days off. If you have time, go to Gaiwu's store. Speaking of which, I'm not qualified either. Gaiwu's snack bar has been open for so long, and I haven't tried his craft yet. Kakashi quickly stood up and said, yes, teacher. Gaiwu frowned. Minato has only been in Hokage for a month, and it stands to reason that he has a lot of things to do during this time. When Naruto was Hokage, he didn't go home for several months. He came back earlier than himself today, probably because he really had nothing to do. In this way, it is mostly his work, and a large part is handled by Sarutobi Hiruzen. Minato is a thug Hokage. He is very kind to himself, and Gaiwu doesn't want to see this kind of thing continue. Besides, there was a Hokage in full power standing behind him. It's a great feeling of being able to do whatever you want. We have to find a way to rectify third generation so that he can really retire. But this kind of thing is not urgent at this moment. The first problem is not to expose yourself. Opening a small shop is my pursuit. Konoha's intrigue can help Minato a little. Kakashi, come to the store tomorrow and help me. Free labor should not be in vain. Gaiwu would not be polite to Kakashi. It would be nice to have him run errands around the store. Standing on a stool and talking to someone every time they come to order is not a pleasant thing to do. There is nothing better than Kakashi for running errands. Kakashi subconsciously looked at Minato, and Minato nodded. Okay, it is not the first time he has visited Gaiwu's small shop. The curiosity about Gaiwu has been there since the first meeting. Being able to join him in his life, seeing how he runs that snack bar, and getting to know him better. Oh, Gaiwu sighed softly in his heart. During this period, Kakashi suffered too much inner torture, and he did not have the vigor of young people at all. If we can lead him out of this period as soon as possible, it will be beneficial to his future. After dinner, Gaiwu habitually cleaned up the dishes on the table. All these things he did while Minato was away. Kushina's stomach is getting bigger day by day, and it is no longer suitable for housework. Mr. Gaiwu, you have been busy all day, I will do these things. Minato quickly grabbed Gaiwu. At the age of only 5 years old, there is no hesitation in doing these housework. He was able to take on the responsibilities of a family at such a young age, and I don't know how he did it. It would be nice if Naruto could have Gaiwu in the future. Gaiwu smiled slightly. You are busier than me, you are the one who should sit down and rest. I've been used to doing these things for a long time. Gently pushed Minato away, swept everything off the table, and walked into the kitchen. Kushina stared blankly at Gaiwu's back. This is how he took care of me this month. He's still so young. As he spoke, tears rolled down his eyes. Unimaginable. Gaiwu can do these things so smoothly at such a young age. What has he been through before? What kind of heart is hidden under his optimistic appearance? Minato smiled wryly. When I brought him back, I thought he had the talent to become a ninja. I didn't expect his talent in taking care of the family to be countless times stronger than his ninjutsu talent. In terms of home, I am far behind him. It's a pity. He doesn't want to become a ninja. For Minato, picking Gaiwu back was entirely on a whim, and he never thought about how much kindness he had to Gaiwu. However, Gaiwu used this month to tell him, "You can take good care of a family at a young age." In the end, it was my family who owed Gaiwu. He can live well without being a ninja, Kushina said earnestly. She never questioned that. At the age of 5, he had his own small shop. When he grows up, he will definitely be able to earn more money. Maybe he will issue missions to ninjas in the future and become their employer. Minato nodded. He totally agreed with what Kushina said. Kakashi looked at Kushina and Minato, then at Gaiwu. In terms of taking care of myself and others, I am far behind Gaiwu. Maybe I should really learn from him. Immersed in the sadness of Nohara Lin and Obito's departure all day, my life is a mess. Gaiwu also lost his parents in the war, and he endured no less grief than himself. However, not only can he take good care of himself, but he can also take care of the Minato family. Even this ability is far from what I can compare. Somewhere far away from Minato's house is a location that Kushina can't perceive unless he actively activates his perception ability. Orochimaru's sharp tongue twirled around his lips. He actually lives with Namikaze Minato. This matter is worth studying. Orochimaru's figure gradually faded away, and the Minato family was something he dared not touch now. Not to mention the fact that Kakuna is Nine-Tails Jinchuriki, even Minato is not easy to mess with. His Flying Thunder God attainments are stronger than second Hokage who developed this ninjutsu. It is completely impossible to snatch Gaiwu under his nose. Yeba Gaiwu, I will definitely have a chance. Today's matter will not end like this. Whether it is from Gaiwu's fear of death. It was also the matter of him shooting his own little white snake to death. Such hatred made it impossible for Orochimaru to tell others. A 5-year-old child. One of the dignified Sannin. A recognized strongman in the ninja world. To deal with a child, you have to borrow other people's hands, and if you spread the word, you will be ashamed to face others. Whether gathering information on Gaiwu or dealing with him, Orochimaru did not seek Danzo as an ally. Although an ally, Danzo has bigger ambitions than himself. And Danzo is a completely emotionless person. He only has interests in his eyes, only the position of Hokage. Once let him know that Gaiwu hides something that can pose a fatal threat to him. He will definitely hold Gaiwu in his hands without hesitation. Whether it's using Gaiwu's abilities to threaten himself or do other things. Danzo does not have any psychological burden at all. The secret hidden in Gaiwu must be too powerful to imagine. A 5-year-old child. There is no chakra presence in him. But it can make oneself feel the threat of death. Good stuff. It's better for me to enjoy it alone. Orochimaru's voice slowly spread through the night, but no one could hear it. The next day, Minato went to work in the Hokage building early. Gaiwu simply made some nutritious breakfast for Kushina. The pregnant woman will rest for a long time, and she has not woken up yet. Place in a steamer to keep breakfast warm. Not long after, Kushina got up. Seeing the warm breakfast prepared in the steamer, a smile appeared on the corner of his mouth. This is definitely not what Minato prepared, he was not so careful. Ah, Minato in the Hokage building sneezed for no reason. Taking one out and tasting it, Kushina's smile widened. This taste is definitely made by Gaiwu. With a sense of happiness on his face, Kushina lay on the sofa and turned on the TV casually. Minato, there are two most correct things you have done all these years. The first thing is to snatch me back from Cloud Shinobi. The second thing is to bring Gaiwu back from the battlefield. It feels really good to be taken care of by such a little brother. Although Kushina is old enough to be Gaiwu's mother, she does not regard Gaiwu as an adopted son. He was too mature for Kushina to treat him like a child. As soon as he arrived at the door of the store, Gaiwu saw Kakashi squatting on the signboard. Immediately unhappy. Kakashi, if you take my signboard, you have to accompany me. Kakashi froze for a moment. With Minato's order and curiosity about Gaiwu, he came to the store early. I stood on the signboard for 2 hours before I got Gaiwu. But I didn't expect that the first sentence he said when we met was like this. I couldn't help saying, I'm not that heavy, and your signboard isn't that fragile. That's what I nailed, it's sure to be fine. Uncle Ichiraku came out of the store and said with a smile. Calamus has already told him what happened in Gaiwu's shop yesterday. I am more grateful to Gaiwu. He can shoot and kill the little white snake that scares her for his daughter without any scruples. Such a man is very reliable. Let her get closer to him, in the future. Uncle Ichiraku. Kakashi jumped off the signboard and greeted Ichiraku politely. Kakashi, are you busy with work recently? I seldom see you, Ichiraku said with a smile. Work, Gaiwu urged like a landowner plucking his feathers. Kakashi frowned, he didn't treat himself as an outsider at all. Still consider himself his worker. There is a feeling that I have become Gaiwu's free labor. Thinking so, Kakashi's hands didn't stop. Help Gaiwu organize things in the store. With only such a large facade, there is not much to do. Everything was sorted out in just 10 minutes. Now there will be no guests. Gaiwu started practicing chakra in the kitchen. When practicing, chakra is fully functioning, and Kakashi, who is close at hand, senses it. Seeing Gaiwu's serious practice, Kakashi said with some doubts, don't you want to be a ninja? Gaiwu gave him a blank look. Is there any conflict between not being a ninja and refining chakra? Asked by Gaiwu, Kakashi was stunned. Seems to make sense. Being a ninja is Gaiwu's freedom. It is his freedom to practice or not. Not being a ninja and practicing, there is no conflict at all with Gaiwu. But it gave me a weird feeling. A very ordinary shop owner. Possess a strong chakra. This feeling, so weird. If Gaiwu still has ninjutsu, this feeling will be even more strange. An ordinary shop owner with powerful ninjutsu. What a strange feeling. What exactly is Gaiwu going to do? Do you know how to practice ninjutsu? Kakashi couldn't help asking curiously. I just need chakra, Gaiwu said casually. With a pair of Jugoryu reincarnation Sharingan, any ninjutsu is meaningless. After practicing these days, Gaiwu felt that his time and space ability had reached the limit. There is only one chance to understand what your own time and space abilities are. Sometimes spatial ability, and Rinnegan's basic abilities. These abilities are enough for him to be invincible in the ninja world. Does ninjutsu make sense? Kakashi didn't know what to say. Kong has a powerful chakra, but he doesn't learn ninjutsu. It's a waste of talent. Waste is shameful, Kakashi said softly. Want to learn ninjutsu? I know a lot of ninjutsu. Copy Ninja Kakashi. This title is not called for nothing. He has been on the battlefield for so long, and he has encountered many opponents. The ninjutsu used by others is recorded by his Sharingan. Now it has all become his ninjutsu. In terms of the number of ninjutsu he has mastered, he definitely does not belong to Sarutobi Hiruzen, who is known as a doctor of ninjutsu. Gaiwu shook his head, said while refining chakra, no need. With just one seal, any ninjutsu will be absorbed. Shinra Tenji can shatter the S-rank forbidden technique Spiral Shuriken. What ninjutsu can hurt Gaiwu? Each of Rinnegan's own basic abilities is equivalent to S-rank. As for Kakashi's ninjutsu, only Reikiri has reached the A level, and the others are around the C level. Gaiwu would not do the thing of throwing watermelon to pick up sesame seeds. Kakashi sat aside helplessly. This guy is just too stubborn. It's useless to persuade. What's the point of having a powerful chakra without the ninjutsu to make it work? After waiting for a while, Gaiwu did not speak. Kakashi persuaded again, do you know how powerful your talent is? Gaiwu was impatient with what he said, stopped practicing and looked at him. How powerful can it be? Kakashi looked at him and said seriously, as far as I know, you have only been in Konoha for a little over a month. I have never seen a chakra that is close to Chunin in such a short period of time. As long as you learn ninjutsu and use chakra, your future achievements will definitely not be worse than mine. Gaiwu stood up and said, being a ninja. Boring. I'm either doing a mission or waiting for a mission. And the task is just to make money. I can also make money by opening this small shop. It's all about money. Why don't I choose a lifestyle I like? Kakashi was stunned by Gaiwu's rhetorical question. Thinking about it carefully, Kaido immediately said, ninjas do missions to protect the people they want to protect, not just for money. Gaiwu shrugged. I am an ordinary person, and I can protect the people I want to protect. At the very least, the Minato couple who have saved my life, I will let them not have to work so hard. Kushina's current situation is not suitable for major sports, which will have a great impact on the baby in her belly. Isn't this a kind of protection? Kakashi was stopped by Gaiwu. Yes, Minato has Gaiwu at home to take care of her. Kushina lives a carefree life. When she is in a bad mood, Minato can still talk to Gaiwu when she is not at home. How is this not a protection? Today's words, come out of my mouth and into your ears, don't let the third person know. Gaiwu looked at Kakashi and said seriously. My own words are too subversive of the will of fire advocated by Sarutobi Hiruzen. What burns life to guard new green leaves? It's pure brainwashing. This is exactly the same as the brainwashing speech that Gaiwu knew in modern times also came from this country. Let the young die, and the rulers sit at home and reap the benefits of their deaths. If Sarutobi Hiruzen knew what I said to Kakashi today, he would probably be caught by him as a different kind. Konoha uses the so-called will of fire to brainwash the people in Konoha village. Let those who believe in the will of fire become ninjas, which are convenient for the ruler to control. Kakashi is now in a period of confusion, if he can change his views on the will of fire during this period. In the future, his mind will gain greater freedom and will not be bound by anything. Go outside, I'll make you some snacks just for you. Kakashi was confused by what Gaiwu said. There is a fundamental difference between what Gaiwu said and the education he received. Konoha preached, only a ninja can protect what he wants to protect. Ordinary people can only accept the protection of ninjas. Subconsciously, ninjas are higher than ordinary people. This matter manifests itself on the battlefield as a large number of ordinary people are killed. No ninja sympathizes with them. There is no ninja who feels that what he is doing is wrong. No one will hold the ninjas accountable for the crimes they committed. Even those ninjas who are defined as rebellious are not because they massacred ordinary people. Instead, it caused great harm to the interests of Ninja Village. Kakashi, who has become Jonin, has basically stood at the pinnacle of ninja. But nothing can be protected. Instead, Gaiwu, he didn't become a ninja, but he protected Kushina according to his inner thoughts. Now he is doing what he likes and enjoying the happiness that others can't experience. Ninjas are no better than ordinary people. Under this comparison, Kakashi suddenly felt that this Jonin himself was really nothing special. It didn't take long for Gaiwu to bring Kakashi's special snacks to the bar. Kakashi ate a bit curiously. After entering, his brows were tightly wrinkled. Bitter, but it's not the kind of pain that's completely unbearable. Can eat but feel hard to swallow. Gaiwu, who was standing on a stool and lying on the bar counter, looked at Kakashi with a smile. Cooking is life. Feeling is experience. You feel bitter, your life is bitter. To change how you feel about food, you have to change your mindset first. No, everything you experience is suffering. It's not that Gaiwu doesn't want to get a shorter bar, it's just that he can't find a bar shorter than this one. He doesn't have the skills to do it by himself, so he can only use it now. Hearing this, Kakashi froze. Savor Gaiwu's words carefully. What he said was right, his life was full of bitterness. There is no time to rest at all, and all my mind is on the practice. Become the Jonin that everyone admires, but he can't even protect the two closest people. Confused, Kakashi was even more confused. Isn't it pointless to persist for so long? The powerful power obtained through cultivation can't even protect what you want to protect. Does it make sense? Confused Kakashi looked at Gaiwu. What should I do? Eat it. Gaiwu only had such a simple sentence, and said nothing more. 13 years of experience. 13 years of education. It cannot be changed overnight. I want Kakashi to gain spiritual freedom and get rid of the shackles of the will of fire. It cannot be done in one day. Take your time. Boil the frogs in warm water. Let Kakashi's mentality change little by little. If he succeeds, he will go on according to his own will, and will not be bound by anything in his heart. Kakashi didn't say any more, and ate all the snacks according to Gaiwu's order. All that was tasted from beginning to end was bitterness. Seeing that Kakashi didn't have any food left, Gaiwu showed a satisfied smile. Kakashi was saved, he was not completely poisoned by the will of fire. You can also spend some time on him and help him change other people's words. Gaiwu didn't have that thought anymore. At this moment, a group of people walked into the store. Yamanaka Haiichi, Nara Shirju, Akamaiki Dingza, Ino Shika Cho Trio. Welcome. What do you need? Gaiwu handed the recipe to the three of them. Nara Shikajiu saw Kakashi next to him at a glance, and said with a puzzled face, Kakashi, do you often come here to eat? Kakashi, who was immersed in thinking, was interrupted by Nara Shikahisa's words. Subconsciously stood up and looked at him, nodded and then shook his head, making Nara Shikaku look confused. Kakashi, known for his calm thinking, lost his mind. What made him lose his mind? As soon as Yamanaka walked to the bar, he looked at the recipe that Gaiwu handed over. After a glance, he looked at Gaiwu in a daze. Is this the snack bar you opened? No wonder Yamanaka raised such a question. It's just that Gaiwu looks too young. When he was his age, he was still playing and practicing under the care of his parents. I have long heard that the owner of this store is young and outrageous. But I never expected it to be such a small boy. With Yamanaka's perception ability, he knew that Gaiwu was standing on a stool to reach the height of the bar. Gaiwu smiled slightly. It's just me and Kakashi in the store, do you think it might be Kakashi? The Ino Shika Cho trio looked at Kakashi. I know a lot about the three of Kakashi, he is not a man who can cook. I don't even have the cooking skills to open a snack bar. He doesn't have that kind of hobbies either. But a little boy who looked like he was only 5 years old stood in the store and became the little boss. No matter how, it gives people an unbelievable feeling. Give me 10 servings of everything on the recipe. Akamaiki Dingza said loudly without even looking at it. Okay, Gaiwu replied with a smile. The purpose of opening a snack bar is to attract people from the Akamaiki clan. It takes 10 copies of the whole recipe in one breath, which is not a small income. The snacks he ordered alone can be compared to the usual 2 days' wait. The Akamaiki clan is a good clan, and we will have good dealings with them in the future. The money is rolling in. Gaiwu turned to Yamanaka Hayi and Naraluju. What do you need? There are 10 servings of the whole recipe, which is just the amount of food for one person of Akamaiki Choza. These two people must order another meal. Nara Shikahisa is intrigued by Kakashi's absence. I found a place to sit down, picked up the recipe and ordered a few things, not even 1/30th of Akamaiki Choza. Yamanaka also ordered a few random things. Gaiwu went to the kitchen to make snacks by himself, leaving the 4 of them outside. Nara looked at Kakashi curiously. Kakashi, are you resting today? Hey, I could have a rest today, but the teacher asked me to help Gaiwu. Kakashi calmed down and replied. Gaiwu, it is the name of the owner of this small shop. He has a good relationship with 4th Hokage Minato. After getting this information, Naraluju couldn't help but increase his curiosity. In his memory, none of Konoha's 4 or 5-year-old children was named Gaiwu. But I didn't ask Kakashi too much. That will give people a feeling that they are listening to Gaiwu's information. There is ample time. If you want to know Gaiwu's information and how he was recognized by Minato, you can know these things. The first snack is ready in no time. Kakashi, serve. Hearing this voice, Kakashi stood up almost reflexively, walked into the kitchen and put Gaiwu's prepared snacks on the bar. Naraluju was taken aback by his quick movements. Kakashi seems to be a very qualified waiter already. Akamaiki Dingza didn't care so much, the golden or bright red snacks completely attracted his eyes. Grabbing his snacks and stuffing them into his mouth. At this entrance, the eyes suddenly shone with light. Staring at him, Yamanaka Hayi and Nara Shirju hurriedly asked, how is it? Is it delicious? They were skeptical of a snack made by a 5-year-old boy. I just heard that Konoha has opened a new snack bar, so I came here to try something new. It's not a waste of money if it doesn't taste good. Only Akamaiki Dingza, who is not picky at all, can order so many snacks in one breath without any scruples. Wow, whoa, Akamaki Choza didn't bother to talk to them. Before finishing what was in his hand, he grabbed another bunch of snacks from the plate. Yamanaka Haiichi and Nara Shikaku immediately understood. Akamaki Dingza has proved this with his actions. The snacks made by Gaiwu are delicious. He didn't even bother to say a word to waste the time of eating. The Akamaki family's pursuit of food is unreasonable. There is delicious food in front of you, and all friends and so on are left behind. Yamanaka and Nara could not help but look forward to the snacks they ordered. Kakashi, it is comfortable to have free labor. No need to run around by yourself or jump up and down on a stool. 2 words, comfortable. Kakashi hurriedly ran to the kitchen, brought out the things Gaiwu had prepared and put them on the bar. He also didn't know what Yamanaka Hayi and Naraluju had ordered, and they didn't care about it as soon as they put it away. But Yamanaka and Nara didn't care. Anyway, just to try something new. Can the same food from a chef have 2 flavors? However, as soon as they entered, they felt something was wrong. The 2 said in unison, "My taste seems to be your favorite taste. It has been almost 20 years since we formed a team together when we were young. Don't know too clearly what kind of taste the other person likes." After exchanging plates, the 2 each took their snacks and ate. After the entrance, Naraluju nodded, "This is exactly the taste he likes." Looking at the kitchen behind, he sighed. It's amazing. The snacks out of one pot can cook different tastes according to different people's tastes. And he didn't ask us what kind of taste we like beforehand. This little boss has extraordinary abilities. It took nearly an hour to get the snacks for the 3 of them ready. The main reason is that Akamaki ordered too many things, otherwise it would not take so long. Stepped out of the kitchen, stood on a stool, and looked at the stack of empty plates on the bar. Gaiwu stared blankly at the 3 of them. Akamaki Dingzo ordered so many things, his eating speed was almost the same as his own cooking speed. Didn't he taste it carefully? Nara looked at Gaiwu with great interest. "Boss, your cooking method is different." Gaiwu smiled slightly, and turned on the flickering mode. "It's just a bit of family cooking. Can it be the same? I used to like to make some snacks by myself. There is now Rinnegan who can see how food changes under different firepower. You can also see the taste of the seasoning. The snacks made must be unique. This is Goyu Rinnegan's version of a snack. The most advanced snack in the entire Hokage world. None of them, even if 2 of the same things are put into the fire at the same time, under the observation of Rinnegan, they can cook different tastes. Secret, Goyu Rinnegan. That's what Gaiwu's snack bar is built on. Very good family cooking skills. May I have the honor to ask for your family name?" Naraluju asked with a smile. "Nima, have a snack and come to find out about yourself." Nara dear long. Are you tired? Chapter 21. Yeba. Gaiwu didn't care about this either. There are all kinds of weird surnames in the Hokage world. Some even have only 1 or 2 people with that last name. If Naraluju really has the patience to investigate, then let him go. Anyway, Gaiwu didn't care that Nara went to investigate. Yeba. Nara Shikaku frowned. It was a surname he had never heard of. All big clans do not have this surname. Originally, I just wanted to test Gaiwu to see if he dared to report his surname. The main purpose is to see if he has any unusual thoughts about Konoha. He is only at such an age that he can make such delicacies. The future is unlimited. Once a person like him harbors evil intentions towards Konoha. Even if he is just an ordinary person, he will cause great harm to Konoha. As Konoha's genius strategist, he is also the patriarch of the Nara clan. Taking precautions is what Nara should do. Smart people always think of things farther than ordinary people think. Gaiwu reported his real surname without any scruples, which shows that he has no bad intentions for Konoha. After this trial, he can safely let him open a shop in Konoha. Kakashi frowned and looked at Nara Shikahisa. What did he do just now? Gaiwu didn't understand, but he knew it very well. Said in a deep voice, "Lu Jusong. Mr. Yeba Gaiwu is the child brought back by the teacher from the battlefield, and he lives at the teacher's house now. If you have any questions, you can ask the teacher. Gaiwu is still young, and he doesn't understand many things. The teacher must know better than him." Nara was stunned for a long time. Kakashi's teacher. Isn't it Namikaze Minato who just took office at Hokage? Since Namikaze Minato can let Gaiwu live in his home, Gaiwu is completely harmless. My own temptations are completely superfluous. Full of embarrassment. That, Mr. Gaiwu, please pack a snack that Ding Zuo ordered just now. We've got lots of people in the family, and lots of mates, and they're all going to love your snack. This is an apology in disguise. This is a good apology. Own snacks are only accepted in a small area. Nara Luju, this is completely an advertisement for herself. The people of the Nara family once fell in love with their own snacks. It won't be long before it spreads all over Konoha. At that time, my business will get better and better. The money borrowed from Minato will be repaid soon. Free advertising. And it's an ad with unlimited potential. How could Gaiwu refuse such a good thing? Gaiwu knew it well, and said softly, I'll go get ready right away. Pack 3 for me, Akamaiki Dingza said hastily. The delicacies in this small shop made him linger. After eating it once, I want to eat it a second time, and the things in other stores have become dull. Gaiwu looked at Akamaiki Dingza with a wry smile. Sorry. There are not so many ingredients for now. Akamaiki Dingza smiled and said, it's okay. Get me as much as you have left. No problem. As expected of the patriarch of the 3 big Konoha families, he wiped away all the ingredients he had saved for a few days as soon as he opened his mouth. As long as you order the ingredients you need for tomorrow today, you can call it a day. After more than an hour, all the prepared snacks were packed. The Ino Shika Cho trio is gone. Gaiwu ordered the ingredients for tomorrow, closed the door and left the shop. Kakashi followed Gaiwu. There was something he wanted to say, but he didn't know how to say it. Follow Gaiwu step by step. Even though he is twice as old as him, Kakashi feels that he doesn't feel like a big brother in front of him at all. Instead, he looked like a younger brother who was taken care of by him. Even if Kakashi didn't say anything, Gaiwu knew what he was thinking. Wandering all the way out of Konoha village, came to a small river. Fishing in the river. Can you do it? Gaiwu looked at Kakashi and asked with a smile. Kakashi shook his head. It couldn't be easier for him to kill all the fish in the river with one ninjutsu. Go to the river and catch the live fish. It feels more difficult to him than practicing a ninjutsu. Gaiwu tied up his trousers and walked into the river, looked at Kakashi on the bank and said, come down. I'll teach you. Learn from others. Kakashi tied up his trousers and walked into the river. The river flows relatively gently, the river is crystal clear, and the fish in it can be seen very clearly. The fish in the river are not very afraid of the arrival of people. Some small fish still swim around the two of them. Looking at the fish at his feet, Kakashi looked dignified, subconsciously going to run chakra used ninjutsu to catch them. Don't use ninjutsu, Gaiwu shouted hastily. This is to let Kakashi return to nature and experience naughty things that he never experienced in childhood. It's so boring to use ninjutsu. Oh, Kakashi replied softly, keeping his eyes fixed on the fish in the river. Looking at a fish at his feet, he grabbed it down with his right hand, holding the fish firmly in his hand. Though he doesn't use ninjutsu, nor does he use chakra. But years of practice made his reaction speed far exceed that of ordinary people. Caught a fresh fish in one shot. Before Kakashi could be happy, cold water splashed from the side. The moment he heard the wind, he subconsciously wanted to defend himself, and the fish he just caught also ran away. Ha ha ha, Gaiwu laughed loudly from the side. Only then did Kakashi realize that Gaiwu had swayed him. But found that he couldn't get angry. Inexplicably, it seems to be quite fun. He's not size bookworm. After a little thought, it became clear that Gaiwu didn't catch the fish, so seeing that he had caught it, he intentionally sabotaged it. Based on what I know about Gaiwu these days, he is not just someone who can do this kind of thing. It's like being at Minato's house. Because I have a good relationship with Minato and the others, I can do some things without any scruples. He took care of all the housework, and Kushina and Minato couldn't stop it even if they wanted to. It's his way of being close to people. Friend. This word is a little strange, but it feels very close to me. Former friends are lost, and that guy never gets along. Gaiwu knows himself well and is willing to make friends with him. This feeling, very comfortable. He picked up a handful of water and poured it towards Gaiwu. The smile on Kakashi's face, which hadn't been seen in many years, appeared almost miraculously. Although wearing a mask, there is a slight grin. Gaiwu has never been trained in gymnastics, so naturally he can't avoid Kakashi's water. He didn't back down at all, grabbed a handful of water and threw it at Kakashi. Not long after, the two fish did not catch a single one, and all of them became drowned chickens. Back on the shore, Kakashi will run out of habit and chakra will dry the clothes. Gaiwu quickly stopped. Don't dry it. Let's go back like this. Kakashi was stunned, and asked doubtfully, why? Gaiwu didn't explain. Tell Kakashi everything, and his feelings will not be so strong. After working for a while, I caught a few fish and took them home. But, all caught by Kakashi. Without Gyuyu Rinnegan, you can't see the fish swimming in the river, so it's hard to catch them. Without plugins, it is far worse than Kakashi. Once the Gyuyu Rinnegan is opened, the addition of 100 Kakashi becomes meaningless. Gyuyu Rinnegan's abilities are not just those of Shinluo Tianzhang. Brain reaction speed, observation, insight ability. They are more than 1,000 times stronger than normal. Even if the body can't keep up with Kakashi's speed, combining these abilities, you can catch him the moment Kakashi strikes. After defeating Gaiwu, Kakashi couldn't say how happy he was. This is completely different from Gai's competition. Although Gaiwu's age is young, he is too mature. Make Kakashi feel like his younger brother. Winning brother in one round is much better than winning Gai in one round. Kakashi looked at Gaiwu and asked softly, Mr. Gaiwu, do you want me to train you in gymnastics? Hearing this, Gaiwu's heart skipped a beat for a moment. I feel more and more that my direction is somewhat the same as that of Pain. Combat ability explodes. The mobility is unimaginably poor. However, it was only a momentary heartbeat. Gaiwu has a feeling that he has the ability of time and space. If there is no accident, it should be able to wake up in these 2 days. As long as the ability of time and space is awakened, the lack of mobility can be made up for. All along, Gaiwu didn't want to be too Zhongyang, and never left Konoha Shinobi's sight. So as not to be remembered by some unruly people. Isshin's dream of running just that little shop is about to be dashed. Once you have ninjutsu training with Kakashi, all previous efforts will be in vain. No, Gaiwu said casually. Kakashi just sighed and didn't say anything more. When it comes to talent, Gaiwu's talent will not be weaker than his own. When he was practicing in the shop before, chakra was exposed. Just over a month of practice has the amount of Chunin's chakra. Chakra is the root of everything. A very common ninjutsu, backed by the extremely powerful chakra, can exert power several times higher than the level of ninjutsu. This kind of talent is not much worse than his own Sharingan. Know your own affairs. Kakashi knows he needs chakra the most. After a battle, it takes only a few ninjutsu to stop cooking. If you can't kill the enemy, you will become a burden to your companions. Gaiwu obviously has a talent that makes him envious, but he is unwilling to practice ninjutsu anyway. I don't even want to practice conjoined body art. What a waste of his talent. But, his dream is that snack bar. From today onwards, I have one more guardian goal. Gaiwu, this true friend, he doesn't want to be a ninja, so protect him himself. Root base. Hearing the Anbu ninja's return, Danzo's eyes showed a little bit of disappointment. Stay with a genius like Kakashi, he doesn't want to practice at all. What the hell is going on with Minato? Bringing such a burden home. When Gaiwu first appeared in sight, Danzo became interested in him. Anbu ninja who has been sending Root to follow him. After all, he is someone Minato values. If you can dig him up. In Sarutobi Hiruzen, I managed to get back a little bit. However, Gaiwu's performance time and time again disappointed him. Both Minato and Kushina advised him to become a ninja, but he refused. Kakashi wanted to teach him some taijutsu, but he also refused. Such a person with no enterprising spirit was brought back to Konoha by Minato and placed in his own home. Giving time to monitor such a person, Danzo always felt like he was out of his mind. Gritting his teeth, he said in a low voice, I don't need to monitor Yeba Gaiwu anymore. A person who has absolutely no idea of being a ninja. It really pissed me off. Waste so much of my time monitoring him. After all, he is someone Minato values. Danzo has no way of knowing whether he has Minato's Flying Thunder God spell. Want to kill this ordinary person who wasted his time. Danzo felt helpless. Once the ninja who performed the assassination mission was discovered by Minato to be a root ninja. With Minato's protection of those close to him, he will definitely come to make trouble for himself. Minato comes looking for trouble of his own. How could Sarutobi Hiruzen watch from the sidelines? If he didn't take the opportunity to make himself unhappy, it wouldn't be Sarutobi Hiruzen. For a completely ordinary person, offend Konoha's 2 Hokages. Not worth it at all. Ha! The root ninja who was in charge of monitoring Gaiwu replied softly. This breath can only be held back. As long as Yuba Gaiwu is in Konoha for 1 day, I can't do anything to him. Behind him stands a 4th Hokage. The fastest man in the whole ninja world. Although Namikaze Minato is an amiable young man. But he also has his reverse scales. Anyone just needs to touch his reverse scale. Flying Thunder God plus Rennegan will definitely make his enemies overwhelmed. Minato's house. Kushina saw Gaiwu and Kakashi walk in, all wet. It took a long time to react. But she realized that she didn't care about the 2 of them. But, Kakashi, Gaiwu, did you really go fishing in the river? Is it fun? Isn't it interesting? When Naruto grows up, you have to take him with you. It's a pity. I have Naruto in my stomach, otherwise I would go fishing with you. Just thinking about it is so interesting. This is Kushina. Never too big a deal. Naruto's ability to make trouble is mostly inherited from Kushina. Kakashi lowered his head in shame. Quickly run chakra to dry clothes. A dignified Jonin, messing around with a 5-year-old child. It's embarrassing, but Kushina's words made him feel very warm. A long-lost feeling of home. Kushina and Minato are parents. Gaiwu is a big brother. I am my younger brother. It is very common in ordinary families for big brother to take his younger brother to do naughty things. Isn't Minato-san back yet? Gaiwu walked towards his room and whispered. Kushina looked at the embarrassed Kakashi with interest. It should be something unexpected, otherwise it should come back. She had never seen Kakashi like this before. What an interesting feeling. If this continues, Kakashi will really be brought down by Gaiwu. But, Kushina is looking forward to the day when Kakashi is completely changed by Gaiwu. Young, with a stern face all day long, full of gloom. Looks even worse than an old man. If he can become like Gaiwu, with a mature heart, but also able to do some naughty things. Even if it can't fully reach the level of Gaiwu. As long as he can get out of the haze in his heart, life will be completely different from before. Don't wallow in the sorrow of the past. Live with a whole new look. That's the kind of Kakashi that people like. After changing his clothes, Gaiwu went straight into the kitchen. Uncomfortable Kakashi quickly said, I'll go help Gaiwu. Kushina joked with a smile. You get used to playing Gaiwu so quickly. I really think that between you and Gaiwu, you are the younger brother, he is the big brother. Kakashi froze, staring blankly at Gaiwu's back busy in the kitchen. With his height, he can only reach the pot. Stir-frying needs to be patted with a stool to stir-fry normally. Even so, he enjoyed it and didn't feel like letting go of what he was doing at all. Because, he has assumed the responsibility of a family. Take care of mother, take care of brother. There is no need to hesitate about these things. He will do it no matter how difficult it is. It really looks like a big brother. Kakashi muttered in a very soft voice. This kind of feeling that you don't have to think about anything when you return home, and everything is arranged by the family. Really comfortable. Although his voice was very soft, it couldn't escape Kushina's ears. Staring blankly at Gaiwu who was busy in the kitchen. His little figure jumped up and down on the kitchen stool. Gives a very clumsy feeling. But it's so cozy. Do you need my help? Kakashi walked into the kitchen. Gaiwu casually pointed at the sofa in the living room, the meaning was already obvious. Just go and sit on the sofa. Kakashi scratched his hair in embarrassment, feeling that he couldn't help Gaiwu at all. There was a knock on the door. Minato, you came back on time today. Kushina said angrily. As soon as Gaiwu entered the kitchen, he came back. It feels like I'm coming back for a meal. Minato looked at everyone in the room with a face full of embarrassment, when his eyes fell on Kakashi. There is joy in the eyes. Although Kakashi dried the clothes on his body, there were still some marks left on them. Minato smiled and approached Kakashi. Kakashi, did you go fishing with Gaiwu? Kakashi was embarrassed and said no. Kushina talked about it once before, and now Minato said it again. We're dignified Jonin. Things like going down the river to fish are talked about all the time. Where should you put your face? Kakashi turned into an ostrich and said in a very low voice, Teacher. Sorry, I did something wrong today, and I will never do it again. Don't. Minato hastily stopped him. You should make more trouble with Gaiwu. For example, you should go and experience things like going to the house to expose the roof tiles. Or throwing firecrackers into the latrine, you should try it too. And throwing stones and smashing glass, you have to experience these things. Make up for your missing childhood. The more Minato said, Kakashi's face became darker and darker. He is a dignified Jonin. An elite ninja recognized by Konoha. Has earned the title of copy ninja all over the world. To really do those things to be known. The image that was so hard to build before has completely collapsed. There is no way to talk to Minato anymore. Going on, Minato might even encourage himself to go to the women's bathhouse for a while. How could such a thing be done by myself as a Jonin? Teacher, I'm sorry, I did something wrong. Kakashi shouted in a hurry, and several jumped to the roof to watch the stars alone. At this time, Gaiwu's meal is ready. He's thin-skinned, you can't bear to say that. But, it's okay, I will take him to make up for his missing childhood. Gaiwu put the food on the table. Minato's eyes lit up suddenly, and he said with a smile, then I'll leave it to you. I always feel that entrusting Kakashi to Gaiwu is a very reassuring thing. That's right. Gaiwu, who had just walked into the kitchen and was about to bring out the prepared soup, turned to look at Minato and Kushina. The two looked concentrating. Gaiwu's serious expression is rare. Minato quickly said, is there anything important? A meal of fried pork with bamboo sticks is indispensable for a happy childhood, Minato-san, you understand. Gaiwu said with a sudden smile. Minato stared blankly at Gaiwu. Bamboo stick fried meat. Is this encouraging yourself to join Kakashi? It seems very interesting feeling. Kakashi on the roof shivered when he heard this, feeling that something bad would happen to him. Kushina's interest increased greatly. Okay, you hurry up and take Kakashi to make trouble. My Naruto also needs a complete childhood, just practice with the two of you. The feeling of being a son. Kushina suddenly put his hips on his hips and laughed. Wow, ha ha ha. Just thinking about it makes me tremble with excitement. Gaiwu's face darkened suddenly. I'm urging you guys to punch Kakashi, but don't get me involved. Hey. Minato looked at the two with black lines all over his face. Weakly said, Kushina, son is not for beating. The depression at work is swept away by the relatives at home in minutes. Bringing Gaiwu back at the beginning was really the most correct decision I made in my life. Gaiwu squinted and smiled. It's so boring to give birth to a son without beating him a few times. Kushina shouted excitedly, yes, what Gaiwu said is so right, when my Naruto is born, we must give him a complete childhood. Boom, with a muffled sound, Minato punched Gaiwu on the head with a muffled punch, and said with a smile, is it like this? I'm not your son. Kushina hasn't practiced yet, so why did you use me to practice? Gaiwu looked at Minato with a displeased face. Minato grabbed Gaiwu's shoulder and said seriously, but you are my family. Gaiwu was stunned, staring blankly at Minato. That sentence carries too much weight. Gaiwu understands the meaning of the family members mentioned by Minato. He has become an existence in his heart that no one can violate. Although there is no blood relationship, it is the same as having blood relationship. And myself, I have always only regarded Minato as a benefactor, and I just want to pay off the kindness owed to Minato. Just moved out from Minato's house. However, but it never occurred to Minato to treat himself like this. How can I move out in the future? Kakashi, come down to eat. Kushina yelled towards the outside. Minato has already tried the taste of beating his son, and he must try it too. Kakashi didn't know there was a hidden punching machine in it. Tired after playing for a day, I turned over and jumped down. Just landed. Boom. A fist landed on his head. Wow, ha 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 ha. Kushina laughed with her hands on her hips. Is this what it feels like to beat up a naughty son? It's so interesting. So fun. Kakashi looked at Kushina in bewilderment. What's the situation? Why did you get beaten up so suddenly? But, why do I feel very comfortable in my heart? He has been regarded as a genius since he was a child, and White Fang couldn't bear to beat himself up. No one else can touch you anymore. Having said that, I have never done naughty things before. Kakashi, we have become brothers and sisters. Gaiwu glanced at Minato and Kushina. The voice is full of unhappiness. Difficult brother. The word made Kakashi shudder inside. Brother. Closer than friends. Is Gaiwu admitting himself? There is a feeling of being taken care of by a big brother. Very nice. Minato beckons Kakashi to come over. Come over and eat. Don't look aggrieved, I will take you out to see something good later. I came back late today, I just prepared a surprise for you. Kushina immediately ran to Minato. Minato, what surprise did you prepare for us? Minato smiled and said, since it's a surprise, I definitely can't say it now, you'll know later. Although not a family, but closer than a family. After dinner, Gaiwu wanted to clean up, but Kakashi got there first. He had never done housework before, and it was the first time he did housework ahead of Gaiwu. Kakashi, can you do it? Minato asked with a worried face. Kakashi couldn't hang on his face immediately, and said firmly and affirmatively, it must be no problem. I am also part of this family, and these things should have my share. However, in the kitchen, Kakashi is like an enemy. My whole body tensed up, looking at the bowls and chopsticks in the sink. Bang! A sudden sound of alarm startled the three people in the hall. Minato and Gaiwu were about to walk in, when Kakashi hurriedly yelled, it's okay. I can do it. I'm a genius ninja, this thing won't bother me. Bang! There was another reminder. The three people in the hall looked at each other. Minato said with a bit of embarrassment, actually, genius ninjas have nothing to do with this. I also studied for a long time to learn. Bang! There was another reminder. Suddenly, Gaiwu felt a killing intent around him. Kushina's red hair flutters up. Full of anger. Clenched fists tightly. The roar of the East Lion's roar resounded through the house. Kakashi, if you break another plate, see if I don't beat you to the ground. Gaiwu subconsciously stays away from Kushina. Although she is usually weak, she has a very resounding nickname among her peers. Blood Red Chili. Hidden under her weak appearance, she has a fierce personality. An existence that must not be provoked. Bang! Kushina's roar made Kakashi, who was already nervous, even more nervous. Then, Minato finished washing up, Kakashi with a full head and a dejected face. With an excited look on his face, Kushina couldn't help shaking his fists as he watched the wonderful picture above Kakashi's head. And Gaiwu, who is trembling behind Minato. Kushina is absolutely addicted to punching people, and now Kakashi she can't hit too hard. Waiting until his own son is born. Gaiwu mourned Naruto for 3 minutes in his heart. His future childhood will be very exciting. It will definitely be particularly rich. He will enjoy what other children have not enjoyed. After all, Naruto's character is completely inherited from Kushina. Faced with a mischievous son, Kushina, who is now accumulating experience, will be very happy. Training course. Something has been buried in the ground. Minato used a fire-style ninjutsu. The fuse buried in the ground was ignited by him. Boom! Accompanied by a loud noise, a red light that illuminates the entire Konoha rose into the sky. Gaiwu stared at the light that soared into the sky. If it was in my own world, this thing would cost hundreds of thousands. Boom! The loud noise shook the world, and the colorful light rendered the whole Konoha into various charming colors. Kakashi was stunned watching the fireworks blooming in the sky. A tear trickled down the corner of his eye. Is this what Minato specially prepares for the family? I am also part of this family. There are fathers and mothers. And a big brother who can take care of himself. Protect this family and dedicate everything to this family. It's worth spending your whole life guarding. Minato patted Kakashi on the shoulder. His mood Minato felt it. The boy finally got over the sadness of leaving Obito and Rin Nohara. Because there is a new family that accommodates him. And it wasn't me who plugged him in. It was Gaiwu who took him and integrated him into his family. Without Gaiwu's participation, I am afraid that my plan to let him feel the birth of a new life and let him let go of his sadness will not succeed. A matter that I value so much is easily solved in Gaiwu's hands. Now Kakashi has relaxed his mind, as long as he lives well in this family. It won't be long before he gets over the loss of Obito and Rin Nohara. Gently scratched Gaiwu's head. Gaiwu looked at Minato with a puzzled face. What's the situation? Thank you, Minato said softly. Gaiwu looked at Kakashi next to him. That guy was crying. It is moved tears. He lived alone after White Fang's death, and he was integrated into the Minato family. Although he is older than himself, Gaiwu regards him as a younger brother. It seems to be a very good thing to have such a younger brother. Feel free to bully Kakashi. You really want to thank me? Gaiwu looked at Minato and said softly. The night was dark, Minato couldn't see the cunning in Gaiwu's eyes. Yeah, Minato nodded slightly. Gaiwu is happy. Signal Minato to bend down. Boom. When Minato's head was lowered, Gaiwu hit Minato's head with a fist without hesitation. Ha ha ha. After knocking, Gaiwu ran away. Minato froze for a moment, and a smile spread across his mouth. Got it. Own dignified Konoha Hokage. Yellow flash. Got hit on the head by a 5-year-old. No annoyance. It's fun. It's a bit like a child knocking himself when he is naughty. Lovely. Gaiwu, don't run, I'll catch you and beat your ass. Minato immediately chased after him. But not too fast. With his speed, if he really wants to chase Gaiwu, he can catch up with him in a few steps. Because he knew that Gaiwu had never practiced and could not escape quickly, he didn't bother to chase him. Kushina looked at this warm picture with a sweet smile on her lips. This is like a family. Feeling Kakashi next to him staring blankly, he said softly, go. You are also part of this family. Kakashi wanted to go for a long time, but after Kushina said so, he immediately chased after him. Night. Minato and the others fell asleep, only Kakashi tossed and turned and couldn't fall asleep. Squat on the roof and watch the starry sky at night. Suddenly, 2 smiling faces appeared in the night sky. Seeing these 2 familiar smiling faces, Kakashi extended his right hand towards them. Obito, Lin, I have a new family. There is a father, a mother, and a big brother who is younger than me. They were all so nice to me. This is my home. I will do my best to protect my home. The 2 people in the starry sky waved their right hands at Kakashi. Kakashi seemed to hear their voices. Kakashi, be happy. Kakashi, forget about us, you have a brand new life. Kakashi stood up slowly, looking at the starry night sky. Put your hands in your trouser pockets. At this moment, I feel more relaxed than ever. I promise you, you will have a good life. Early the next morning. Konoha Cemetery. Kakashi walks to Obito and Lin's graves with flowers in hand. Clean up the weeds in front of the grave and put fresh flowers on it. Kakashi, come to see them again. Guy's voice sounded from the side. Following the sound, I saw that he was also holding a bouquet of flowers, so I knew who he was visiting. Kakashi smiled slightly. Well, come and say goodbye to them, and say goodbye to your former self. Kakashi. Guy looked at Kakashi in bewilderment. In just a few days, the sadness in Kakashi's eyes disappeared. What happened in the past few days when I practiced? Kakashi has changed so much. Guy, come on. He waved to Guy. Kakashi left the cemetery and walked towards the snack bar. Now this time is a little later than yesterday. We'll arrive at the snack bar later than Gaiwu. He shouldn't have said anything. Looking at Kakashi's relaxed back, Guy was even more confused. This is more energetic than Obito and Nohara Rin before the accident. The expectation of life is stronger than before their accident. What happened in the past 2 days? Not only did Kakashi come out of his grief, but he was also full of hope in life. From a decadent boy to a spiritual guy. Guy felt his heart was as uncomfortable as being scratched by a cat. If I don't figure out what happened these days, I can't calm down in my heart. Kakashi is a completely different person. Such a big change, as his opponent in life, he must understand clearly. After briefly worshipping Might Die, Guy chased in the direction Kakashi left. When I saw Kakashi busy in the snack bar dressed as a waiter, Guy was stunned. The Kakashi who practiced hard is gone. In that, what's your name? After thinking about it for a while, Guy found that he couldn't remember the name and decided not to think about it anymore. Today's snack bar business is much better than before. The ad for the Ino Shika Cho trio was done yesterday. Especially since they brought the real thing back and everyone tasted some. So, when Gaiwu came to the store today, there was already a long queue outside the door. The ingredients that had been prepared for 2 days were almost used up. The snack bar has no room for people, and a few tables have been set up outside. Come here for the nice tapas and don't mind sitting outside. As soon as the prepared snacks were served, they were swept away by them. Some came with an empty stomach, and it was really hard to get in line to deal with Ichiraku next to me and eat a little. This made Ichiraku very happy. Although the business was not as good as Gaiwu's, it was the best day since World War III. It is thanks to Gaiwu that there is such a good business, and I can buy more ingredients tomorrow. But, Ichiraku feels that no matter how much food Gaiwu puts in tomorrow, it won't be enough. It's so hot today. Tomorrow's business will definitely be even hotter. As far as I am busy, I can see that he asked Kakashi to buy several ingredients. Watching Gaiwu's hot scene, Ichiraku said with a smile. It feels so good. It seems to be back before the war. Konoha's prosperity will start from you. After working for most of the day, Gaiwu was really exhausted. Climb on top of the bar. Everyone, please come back tomorrow. As you can see, I am only 5 years old, and I can only do so much today. The supply will be limited starting tomorrow. I'm still too young to withstand such a crazy toss. Everyone looked at Gaiwu standing on the bar, and stood there in a daze. They all looked at him with their mouths wide open, with disbelief written all over their faces. After a brief moment of stupefaction, everyone focused on Gaiwu and sized him up carefully. It's a lie. Such a delicious snack is actually made by a 5-year-old child. Why are other people's children so capable, but my children? How is it possible? The boss who makes such delicious snacks is actually a 5-year-old child. My God, how can this be believed? He's really only 5 years old. Impossible. There must be someone inside. Someone ran to check the small kitchen at the back, but found no one there. Kakashi scanned the audience and said in a deep voice, "Everyone. I testify with the honor contained in the name Kakashi. The owner of this snack bar is Mr. Gaiwu. I was ordered by Mr. Minato to help him in the store. It cannot be said that it is because I want to help Gaiwu. It cannot be said that Gaiwu hired himself. Even if an ordinary person has the best skills, these ninjas will think that they are superior. This situation is slightly better here in Konoha. Oh, I have a very close relationship with Lord 4th Generation. No wonder he has such cooking skills at such a young age. It was recognized by the 4th Generation. It seems that we can only make reservations in advance in the future. It is really difficult to eat enough at once. With such achievements at such a young age, the future is boundless. Let's go. Come back tomorrow. I've been busy for so long, I have to rest." He's exhausted. It's going to be hard to get such a delicious snack next time. One person left his seat, and the people queuing up outside gradually dispersed. Before long, it was just Kakashi, and Gaiwu left in the shop. Gaiwu exhaled heavily and jumped off the bar. After working for so long, I am really tired. Knowing his difficulty, Kakashi moved him a stool for him to sit and rest. "Mr. Gaiwu, I brought a friend here." A familiar voice sounded outside. Gaiwu was slightly taken aback. Uchiha Itachi. His friends. That's the only person besides Kakashi. Gaiwu came out from behind the bar and saw the young man who was a little taller than Uchiha Itachi. Instant Shisui, Uchiha Itachi's only recognized older brother. The super genius of the Uchiha clan. It is now a super strong man who has opened Mangekyo Sharingan. The age is only 17 years old, and the reputation is many times greater than Kakashi. It is the super strong tolerance that all major countries are terrified of. But, no matter how great his reputation is, Gaiwu has no interest in him. Gaiwu's take on Uchiha Shisui is just that. Our Lady. There was a chance to kill Danzo, or shake Danzo off, but didn't do it. He was merciful, and Danzo found an opportunity to take an eye away. When encountering an enemy on the battlefield, he can also not kill without killing. Even if he left a good reputation, it still couldn't change his fate of being forced to commit suicide in the end. Forget about the Holy Mother, this girl is still a diehard fan of Will of Fire. The kind that was completely brainwashed. Monocular Susan. That is absolutely unique in the world for the Uchiha family. Obviously possessing such a powerful body, he can do whatever he wants. But it happened to end like that. Sorry, today's ingredients are sold out, come back tomorrow. Gaiwu said with a bit of boredom. He can try his best to change Kakashi, and he can also work hard on Uchiha Itachi. Because they both have one characteristic in common. They are all in a period of confusion now, and I can guide them to a certain extent. Change their worldview, change some of the things that will happen in the future. And Uchiha Shisui, never mind, this baby is completely hopeless. Already 17 years old, he firmly believed that the path he took was correct. Believe in the will of fire. He will not accept any topics that refute the will of fire. Certainly, he won't argue with you either. Coupled with the fact that he is a fool, Gaiwu has no affection for him at all. When you encounter an enemy, you should kill it with one move. Don't give him any chance to fight back. Fortunately, he was thinking about the peace of the will of fire, and showing mercy to the enemy in various ways. In the end, he fell to a dead body. Kakashi froze for a moment. Gaiwu always spoke politely. Even when he saw off the guests just now, he was kind and did not let anyone feel angry. How could he be so indifferent to this friend brought by Uchiha Itachi? Uchiha Itachi said with a little embarrassment, "It's really a coincidence that you came here today. Let's come early tomorrow." His way of thinking is inherently different, and the way of thinking of many adults is far behind him. After Gaiwu pointed out the contradiction in his heart to him, he has been thinking carefully for a while. Knowing that Uchiha Shisui is back, he brings him to try Gaiwu's snacks. But he never expected to be rejected like this. It doesn't matter. There must be something unique about the snacks that Itachi admires so much, we can just come early tomorrow. Shisui didn't care too much, it was too hard to just pretend to be Gaiwu. After all, he's only that old. He is still very interested in what Uchiha Itachi highly recommends, and he doesn't mind getting a little stare. Seeing that the two were about to leave, Gaiwu rolled his eyes and said suddenly, "Wait a minute. Take out a pen and paper and write an ingredient on it. Kakashi, go and buy these ingredients." Kakashi was about to take the order, but Guy snatched it away. "I didn't do much to help today, so let me do this." Kakashi shrugged indifferently, and Guy let him go if he wanted to run errands. Gaiwu looked at Uchiha Itachi and Shisui. "Itachi, I have a special snack for you today, just wait a moment. And your friend, I also have a special snack for you. Now that the two are here, prepare a special one for Uchiha Itachi and ask him to subdivide the conflict in his heart. It really shouldn't be done by a young man like him to exterminate the genocide. If the conflict between Konoha and Uchiha cannot be avoided, Gaiwu hopes that Uchiha Itachi will lead some people who are willing to obey his orders to judge Konoha. Those who don't want to leave Konoha, let them have a fight with Konoha. Anyway, Konoha is already a ninja village that is rotten to the bone, so what if a civil war breaks out?" Hearing that it was specially made, Itachi's eyes lit up. Last time, he didn't say that it was specially made, so he distinguished the inner conflict for himself. And this time, what kind of feelings will his special snacks bring to him? And also, what kind of snacks did he make for Shisui? "Shisui, come and sit down here." Itachi gave Shisui a hand and led him to sit down in front of the bar. Shisui looked at Gaiwu, who looked a little unhappy, and intuitively believed that the special snacks he prepared for himself contained something that was not very beneficial to him. Not long after, Guy bought back the ingredients Gaiwu asked for. Gaiwu walked into the kitchen alone. For the snacks for these two people, Gaiwu took a lot of thought and spent a full hour to finish the things. Hearing the sound of Gaiwu turning off the fire, Kakashi immediately walked into the kitchen and brought out 2 plates of snacks. However, Kakashi was stunned when he saw the 2 snacks. Very noticeable difference. A plate of snacks is bright and beautiful. I have watched Gaiwu make snacks many times, and this is the first time I have seen him make such beautiful snacks. The other plate is divided into 6 and 4, one side is fiery red, and the other side is green. Looking at the 2 plates of food, Kakashi was in trouble. Who do these 2 plates of food belong to? Gaiwu said softly, "Take it out. Let them choose." Kakashi obeyed and brought 2 plates of snacks outside. Seeing the two obviously different plates of snacks, both Uchiha Itachi and Uchiha Shisui frowned. With such an obvious difference, it is obvious that each has its own copy. Which one belongs to whom? Gaiwu didn't explain, and they didn't know how to distinguish. Shisui and Itachi stared with big eyes and small eyes, with two dazed faces. Uchiha Itachi looked carefully at the two plates of snacks, took a deep breath, and thought about what was in his heart. Suddenly he understood, and brought over the plate of snacks that were 6 or 4 points in color. Just left a question for Gaiwu before leaving last time. This plate of snacks with 6 to 4 points of color is obviously the answer to my own question. 64 points. Obviously, Gaiwu has a focus in mind. Red is 6. Sector. Could it be Uchiha? Green is 4. In the will of fire advocated by Konoha, green leaves are mentioned emphatically. Could it be that Gaiwu is more focused on Uchiha in his heart? Or is he channeling himself toward Uchiha? However, red also represents spicy, which is not my favorite taste. Green is usually made of green vegetables, which is my favorite taste. It's hard to guess what the young boss is thinking. Can't figure it out. Itachi picked up the chopsticks and put the red one into his mouth. The expected spicy taste did not appear. On the contrary, it is very sweet, refreshingly sweet. It is sweet to the heart, but it will not make people disgusted. It belongs to the taste you like. Sweet and red. This is a reminder for Gaiwu to analyze the contradictions in his heart. Picking up the chopsticks and pinching the green side, the taste of the mouth almost made Itachi spit it out. Ha, ha, he exhaled wildly, flapping his right hand around his mouth non-stop. Itachi had a new understanding of the cooking skills of the young boss. It is obviously a snack, but it can be made into 6 or 4 completely different flavors. More importantly, after tasting the green side, Itachi had a new idea about the contradiction in his heart. Hot, not my favorite taste. Gaiwu also came up with a spicy one, which made him even more unbearable. If this side represents Konoha, wouldn't Gaiwu keep himself away from Konoha by answering the question he left last time? Itachi looked at Shisui beside him. The current Shisui has already encountered a difficult situation. The snacks that are picked up are pulled apart along gluten. There are thin and dense spikes on the gluten. Although these spikes will not hurt the mouth, the things Gaiwu made are too vivid. Let Shisui not know what to say. Gaiwu, who was standing beside him, said in a deep voice, "I will continue to suffer from it." Shisui looked at Gaiwu in bewilderment, completely unable to understand what Gaiwu meant. However, Itachi's heart skipped a beat when he heard this. He said this without looking at anyone, which meant that he was speaking to himself and Shisui. Don't stop and suffer from it. Itachi murmured this sentence silently in his heart, and then looked at the snacks on the plate. A flash of struggle flashed in his eyes. Should we listen to Gaiwu's advice? Is this silent communication right? Mess. Itachi's heart was even more chaotic than before. If Shisui hadn't come back, Itachi felt that he could still analyze an idea of his own. And Shisui is back, the most admired brother, his will is the strongest. Believe in the will of fire. Everything is done for peace. But, Isshin wants to bring peace to Konoha and the world. Is he really doing the right thing? Uchiha and Konoha with 6 and 4 points. Shisui's will of fire. How to choose between the two? Gaiwu said in a deep voice, Itachi, I've already given you the answer you want, pack it up and think about it yourself, I'm tired. No mention of Shisui, because he is different from Itachi. Even if there were obvious warnings on the plate of snacks, he couldn't understand them. If he explained it himself, he wouldn't care. Shisui is a firm believer in the will of fire. Tell him anything that goes against the will of fire, he can't understand it, and he won't take it to heart. Gluten pulls constantly representing his Madonna. If you are indecisive in doing things, you should not kill those who should be killed. The meaning of the fine thorns is that after the Holy Mother, there will be countless people who want to kill him. Pity, he could neither read nor hear. It's not that he's dumber than Uchiha Itachi. It was his firm belief in the will of fire that did not waver in the slightest. Peace in the heart, can't understand what Gaiwu is throwing out. Uchiha Itachi picked up the plate of snacks and bowed respectfully to Gaiwu, Mr. Gaiwu. Thank you very much. Although I don't know how to distinguish, Gaiwu's answer has been put here. For the rest, it's time for me to take this plate of snacks back and think carefully. Hearing that Gaiwu chased away the guests, Shisui stood up, packed the plate of snacks and left. Itachi is the only Uchiha he identifies with. He brought himself here so solemnly, and thanked the shop owner so earnestly. Obviously, this snack contains other truths, but I just can't understand it. On the way home, Shisui looked at Itachi, who was thinking carefully beside him. Itachi. What are you thinking? Itachi, who was in deep thought, came back to his senses when he heard Shisui's voice. Nothing. It's just a matter of practice. For the first time in my life. Itachi hid his true thoughts from Shisui. I have always said everything to Shisui, firmly believe in his beliefs, and feel that everything he does is right. I must learn from him in the future too. However, there is no way to tell Shisui about this matter. Because, the will of fire within oneself. Shaken under Gaiwu's 4 points. Uchiha, I should choose Uchiha. How to choose? How to do it? These things are completely incomprehensible. My heart is already a mess. It is better not to let outsiders know about the silent communication between myself and Gaiwu. Shisui patted Itachi on the shoulder lightly. Don't think too much. You and I are both Konoha's people, and everything we do should be for Konoha, for the sake of world peace. Itachi stared at Shisui and asked earnestly, what should we do if Konoha and Uchiha conflict? Shisui's expression froze, and this time he also clearly felt the strange thoughts in the clan when he came back this time. The patriarch and elders have asked him several times to stand on Uchiha's side and support Uchiha's decision, or to stand on Konoha's side and be a traitor to Uchiha. Shisui has always avoided the questions raised by those in the clan. To Uchiha Itachi, Shisui felt he had nothing to hide. Because he, like himself, is also the successor of the will of fire. Shisui looked at Uchiha Itachi and said seriously, I hope that Konoha and Uchiha can talk peacefully, and use dialogue to solve all problems. What if there is no peaceful dialogue? Uchiha Itachi asked hastily. After working in Anbu for so long, Konoha has a little understanding of Uchiha's attitude towards Uchiha. The Konoha executives do not want a strange voice to appear in the village. The 3 wars have just passed, and the village has no time to recuperate. I don't want any accidents to happen. The attitude is stronger. Uchiha Itachi knew in his heart that it was impossible for the Konoha executives to have a peaceful dialogue with Uchiha. Shisui took a deep breath and said in a deep voice, if there is no peaceful dialogue, I will use the power of my eyes to modify the patriarch's thoughts. There can be no civil war in Konoha. The villagers in this village can't stand a turmoil anymore. Understood. Uchiha Itachi has fully understood. Shisui is firmly on Konoha's side, and would rather harm Uchiha's interests than serve Konoha. Inexplicable. Uchiha Itachi thought of the 6 and 4 points given by Gaiwu. Originally, he completely agreed with Shisui's words, but at this moment, he suddenly disagreed. A clan that gave birth to him would not help. Why should he help Konoha? Uchiha's and Konoha's problems have never been personal. It is a problem left over from history. There is no personal right or wrong in it. There is no big right and wrong in it. Purely because of disagreement. Differences of opinion go their separate ways. Each live their own lives. Each has its own wonderful. There's no need to force a ninjutsu on Uchiha and make them accept things that aren't good for them. The first time, Uchiha Itachi felt that there was something wrong with Shisui's thinking. But did not refute on the spot. Is there a problem with my own thinking, or is there a problem with Shisui's thinking? Itachi felt that he should think carefully. Don't worry, I will definitely not let Uchiha and Konoha clash. What shouldn't happen, I will definitely find a way to stop it. Now, we should talk to Uchiha more and hopefully change their mind. Uchiha Itachi bowed his head and said nothing. Can it be changed? It's hard, very difficult. Since second Hokage, Uchiha's life has become more difficult every day. There are more and more people offended in the village, and it is no longer possible to get along with those people in the village. It can almost be said that the entire Konoha is rejecting the former companion Uchiha clan. Peace talks. It is no longer possible. The historical legacy of Uchiha and Konoha is too serious to be resolved in a few words. Unless Uchiha backs down again. Give in again and again. When Konoha's high-level goals are achieved, Uchiha can live in the village. However, at that time, Uchiha was almost the same as the slave of the Konoha high level. Uchiha Itachi's fist slowly clenched. I am the Uchiha clan, can I watch the clansmen degenerate to that point? The answer is no need to think about it at all. Cannot. Looking at the snack in his hand, Uchiha Itachi took a deep breath. Maybe, I somewhat understand what the answer you gave me means. Uchiha cannot be reduced to a slave. With this surname, I can't be reduced to a slave of the high-level Konoha. Shisui is wrong. I want to go my own way. This road will be very difficult and has no direction, but it must be the one that best resolves the conflict between Uchiha and Konoha. A look of determination appeared in Uchiha Itachi's eyes. Some things must not happen to him. Uchiha's future should be created by Uchiha himself. Someone should not decide Uchiha's future. If Konoha can't hold Uchiha, the world is big. There is always room for Uchiha. Shisui, thank you, I know what I should do. Itachi looked at Shisui and thanked softly. It was his thoughts that made him understand many things. I shouldn't have walked his way. The Uchiha family cannot be reduced to puppets under the control of illusion. You can't become a slave in the hands of Konoha's senior management. They are all independent-minded people. Have the qualifications to fight for your own ideas. Can't be controlled by someone. The reason why human beings are higher animals is because everyone has their own thoughts and abilities. Your own future cannot be decided by others. I hope everyone will support it and subscribe more.